It's the Orioles on Masson. We're at Tropicana Field in St. Petersburg, where today the Orioles and Tampa Bay Rays play the rubber game in this three-game weekend series. And hi, everyone. I'm Jim Hunter. Thanks so much for joining us. And for the Orioles today, trying to get 2 out of 3, the hope is the bats will be here. Yesterday, they were held to just 3 base hits and shut out in Tampa Bay as the Rays got even in the series. And to quote Danny Valencia following the game yesterday, the Orioles hitting this year has been consistently inconsistent. Overall, they are 13th in the league in team batting. You see 14 different games this year. They have 5 or fewer hits in the game. That is tied for third most. They've only had 10 or more hits 14 times on the year. 34 times they've had 1 or fewer hits with runners in scoring position, and 20 times this year, including yesterday, held to 2 runs or fewer, tied for third most, and they've only won 1 of those games in which they've scored 2 or less. So, Jim, for today, with Kevin Gausman on the mound, who's been pitching very well, you hope they support him and get 2 out of 3 before heading home.
Yeah, a couple things have to happen. I mean, he's pitched really well. I mean, last year he gave up 1 run in 3 starts against Tampa Bay. This year, he gave up 11 hits, but only 2 runs. And then what do? They got him 9 runs. So again, I mean, this is what, if you look at the career, but in recent history has even been better. As far as offense, they don't score a lot of runs. If you were watching the game out in Oakland, he pitches a 2-hitter, goes 9 innings, they don't get him any runs. Didn't lose, but he got a no decision. He pitched so well, he had 10 strikeouts in 6 1/3 innings, left with a 2-0 lead. Bullpen wasn't able to hold it. But the Orioles do, offensively, Jim, as you know, they're not a great offensive club unless they hit home runs. They've been scoring right around 3 runs a game since the beginning of September last year. They don't get on base, they strike out too much, and then you'd like to see them walk more. They're 12th out of the 15 teams in walks.
So the goal for today is to get 2 out of 3 before heading home for a 7-game homestand. And when we come back, Jim Palmer chats with Tanner Scott. Nothing to hide, that's transparency. And by Acura, visit your local Baltimore Annapolis Acura dealer for attractive offers on the thrilling Acura lineup. Well, Tanner Scott yesterday was outstanding. He came on in the 6th inning, bases loaded, nobody down, and proceeded to strike out 3 consecutive batters to leave those runners stranded on base. You see a 6th-round pick of 2014 out of Howard College. He's only 23 years old. Very good minor league numbers, and Jim spoke with Tanner about his journey to the major leagues.
I came out of Howard, middle of nowhere school in Big Spring, Texas, and I was just a hard thrower. I mean, it was all velo, didn't really have an off speed, and that's about it.
I'm looking at your numbers over the years. I think I met you for the first time probably about 2 years ago, and I told you, I said, I know that you're a little bit like me, where you always seem to have the best fastball in the organization, and what may be trouble with command. But I walked 130 and 129 innings. I said, you just have to kind of figure out how to do things. But the first year I think you had 10 games and you had 8 starts, and then pretty much out of the bullpen. But every year, you at the end went to go to the Arizona Fall League. So I don't think anybody's ever going to accuse you of not doing the work.
Oh no, I mean, Fall League 3 years in a row, but I mean, I'm always there to work harder and get better and just keep succeeding, or trying to succeed.
So last year, finally you become a starter. 24 starts, was kind of like 3 innings a start. Again, you've never thrown a lot of home runs. It's usually always a strikeout or more per inning. What did you learn last year at Bowie when you became a starter?
Starters have a routine, and it was different to get on a routine. I mean, because you're throwing every 5th day, you have a bullpen in between. But I learned as a starter, you can't just throw one pitch. You have to throw a slider and maybe a changeup at sometimes. But I mean, the best thing for me last year with trying to start was throwing my fastball in locations that I actually want to, instead of just throwing it, and learning how to use my slider effectively.
So when we go back and you look at, you had like 198 innings, 251 strikeouts, the walks were usually 1 every 2 innings. Was it the fact that the windup wasn't good, or the fact you just didn't have enough pitches, or you needed to incorporate both of them?
I just needed to incorporate both of them. I mean, when they told me I was going to start last year, they were like, hey, don't worry about going through the windup, just stay in the stretch and just repeat your delivery and try to make quality pitches and go out there and attack hitters.
So now that you're in the bullpen, anybody you look to for advice?
The older guys, usually Zach. I mean, Zach's still coming back, but I mean, I talked to Darren, Brad, Blyer, Givens, everyone. I just talked to everyone and just picked their brains. I mean, everyone's here for a reason.
So let's get to the destination of yesterday. You come with the bases loaded. You throw 10 pitches. I think 10 of them were sliders. You strike out the side. What are you thinking when you come in with the bases loaded yesterday?
Ground ball, try to get a double play, and try to not let any of the runs score. I mean, Cashner was throwing, and I just didn't want any of his runs to score, and just try to keep the ball on the ground, get a double play, and hopefully a strikeout and end the inning. But happened to be three strikeouts.
Oh, did he ever? And all of a sudden, and how'd he do it? Yeah, he did 15 pitches, 10 sliders, 6 swings and a misses. And, again, you kind of have those kind of outings. You're going to, especially with the injury factors they've had, Jim, he's going to get a lot of work.
Well, if he can continue to command those pitches as he did yesterday, he is going to be a valuable addition to that Orioles bullpen. Our game time temperature is brought to you by BGE Home. We know more, we do more. It is 80 degrees outside. As you see, overcast, some rain, 87% humidity, but very comfortable 72 degrees, climate controlled inside Tropicana Field. And here's the Orioles lineup, brought to you by Southwest. Low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. Mancini, Alvarez, and Manny Machado up top. Manny Machado, 24 RBIs on the road. That leads the American League. He also leads the American League overall with 44 ribbies. Scope, Davis, and Valencia. Cisco behind the plate. Gentry and Peterson. Adam Jones gets today off.
And Sergio Romo. So he started Friday night. Actually pitched well, but there was a strikeout and a wild pitch. It cost him a run. The Orioles would win that game 2-0. Of course, Ryan Yarbrough. It's interesting when you look at the starts. As you look at him, he loves the slider. He doesn't walk a whole lot of guys. He was a closer for the Giants in years they won the World Series. The Giants, of course, win 3 out of 5 World Series. He was on all those teams. So he's a strike thrower. You're trying to match up. With Adam Jones not playing today, you don't get as many matchups, but you can see what he does against righties at 216. He's got the 4th most. He's tied with Ryan Yarbrough as the 4th most starts now, because this will actually go ahead of him. This will be his 4th start of the year, even though it's going to be limited 3 to 6 outs if he can get that.
Trey Mancini will lead off. Trey's looking to break out of it. He's 0 for his last 11 and just 3 for 24 on the road trip. And there's a slider, shocker from Romo.
Well, he used his fastball on Friday night, and You know, it's only 88, but again, you mix them up, and of course, the sliders, different speeds. So it's not like you can look at it, and if he hangs it, it's probably hittable. And there's the fastball. So it's only 86, but you're sitting kind of on the slider. You're kind of looking more in the 82 and 83 range and trying to pick it up, so the fastball can be a little bit sneakier.
Well, the O's at 17 and 35 now. They are 4-6 on this road trip. Another slider. This one fouled off.
And then you wait and wait and wait, and you're still out in front. But he kind of gets exactly in the count he wants to. Yeah, they got him last year. We were here, and you know, Eric Neander, he was pitching with the Dodgers, and Eric, who runs the ball club, is the director of baseball operations, said there's still something left. We like his chance, and he pitched well for him. Low ERA, 2-0. And he gives him somebody who can pitch pretty much every day, and he's willing to do that. And then, I mean, just think if you're in the bullpen or you're one of their many young pitchers, all the experience that he can lend.
Well, 2-2 on Mancini. There's a chopper to third. Christian Arroyo's there today, and Mancini retired, one away. Pedro Martinez in the number 2 spot today, and this is a little bit of a different look with Adam Jones getting the day off. Same starting lineup 1 through 4 since May the 8th. The Atlanta Braves have had the same 4. The Orioles have had the same 4 up until today. Adam Jones getting the day off because of the turf. So there's Adam on the bench, and Pedro Alvarez will DH and bat second.
Well, great fastball hitter, and he gets the low fastball call. Yep.
Pedro 3 out of 10 on the trip. He does have a home run and 4 RBIs.
Yeah, the home run off of Porcello in Boston, hit it down the left field line over the green monster into the green monster seats. Used to be a netting, now a rather pricey ticket.
And the shift on as always against Pedro. Romo likely will only pitch this inning. And if it gets to Chris Davis, you never know if he'll stay on for that.
Well, yeah, nobody up in their bullpen. So the word is it's going to be Austin Pruitt pitching second, but they really could go to pretty much anybody. And another slider, because they don't want him to hit home runs on fastball, so they ends up walking them. Take a look at their defense. There is no defense for what just happened. Refsteyer, Smith, and Gomez, Arroyo, Robertson, Wendell Miller, and then Ramos Wilson in all 3 games in this series.
So Manny comes aboard with a man on. Manny's bat has cooled off on the road trip. In fact, in his last 5 games, he's just 4 for 21. So even though he's still among the league leaders, in fact, that 327 is still 4th. He has certainly cooled off from where he was at when this trip began. Chopped off his foot, 0-1. Sergio Romo now 35. He's from Brawley, California. And this is 11th season in the big leagues. He has dominated right-handed hitters in his career. Slider, a very effective pitch to the righties. There's a bouncer and a base hit to left field. Arroyo with a diving try couldn't get it, so Manny's on. Pedro goes to second, and the O's have 2 on with 1 down.
Yeah, Duffy has been playing, but he goes 0 for 4. They got 11 hits yesterday, so he gets a day off. And right here, you know, again, if it's in the middle of the plate, it's all about exit velocity a lot of times. You get a fast field like it is here at the Trop, and you pitch in the middle of the plate, and they use the whole field, which is what Tampa did with their 11 hits yesterday. You're going to give up some base hits. Yeah, Vidal Nuno. Orioles last year, saw him on Friday night. Recent recall, I think called up right before the Friday game.
Jonathan Scope. His bat is beginning to come on. And the Orioles certainly could use that in that number 4 spot. Romo 36 wins in his big league career. He is 1-1 this year, including the loss on Friday night when he started against the O's. Real good slider there.
Yeah, for him, of course, he'd love to have Jonathan Schoop put this ball in play because it's about the perfect slider. You hardly can't elevate it because it's just sweeping down and away. So it's a pitcher's pitch. Jonathan swings through it.
Line drive, base hit in the left center field. Now Pedro thought that ball might be caught, so he was going back to the bag. So he'll make it to third as the throw comes in from Mallex Smith.
Yeah, he did exactly what he's supposed to do, because the last thing when you're struggling for runs is getting doubled up. This ball hit so hard. Great angle right here. I mean, look at this, a rocket. And again, they got the shift on. So already, you know, if you're Kevin Cash, you're hoping that Romo is effective. He's got the bases loaded. He'll leave with one out.
So Vidal Nuno will come on. Bases loaded, one down in the first.
Equation is he's supposed to match up. Of course, Alvarez instead of Jones, you don't get the right-handers coming up. So your Jiffy Lube pitching change, and we get it in early because of this. Brought to you by Jiffy Lube. Will help your vehicle's engine run cleaner, longer. Jiffy Lube, drive in today. So Nunez, can you get the lefty out? Over the course of his career, 234. Righties hitting 275. Last year for the Orioles had a little trouble with the lefties.
Davis goes after the first pitch and fouls it back.
So really fastball, cutter, you know, occasional changeup. I don't know if you'll throw it to the lefty. You look at those 4 home runs, and for Chris Davis, 3 of them are against left-handed pitching. Of course, you're Kevin Cash. You're trying to match up, and you'll take your chances that Nuno can make a good pitch.
Davis to center field. Mallex Smith has a play. Alvarez will tag. Smith has it. Here comes Pedro to the plate. The throw will go to second base. Gets away from the second baseman Wendell. Trying to move up his scope, and he will. As Wendell fires to the plate, he wasn't sure if Manny was going to try to score. So that'll be an error on the throw in. And that gets another runner in the scoring position for the O's.
Yeah, see, Chris Davis does what he wants to. Obviously would have done a little bit more, but he doesn't strike out, gets the ball in play. Take a look right here, one-handed swing, and you could see him loft it, and Smith throws to the right base. But you have a chance. He could back up on there, take it on one hop. You know the runner is going from second to third. I mean, just take a step back. There's no error. But again, Manny, I think Bobby Dickerson stopped him at third, so he kind of shut it down a little bit. Otherwise, he scores.
So the O's looking now for a 2-out base hit to have a big first inning. Danny Valencia up.
Well, I don't know. Are you really going to pitch to him? Yeah, exactly. Just walked him. There's no way in the world. Chance Cisco, because he's having a nice year, 6 for 18 with runners in scoring position. But if this game, and that's why you started Romo, is about matchups, you better not pitch to Valencia. Otherwise, you'll be down 3-0. Or even if you're not, people are going to second guess your decision. So this is the right decision. And for the Orioles, they just hope the chance Cisco will come through.
Cisco has never faced Nuno. So the bases again loaded with a run in. Ball one inside.
Only 8 at bats, 80 against right-handers, 225, 1 home run, both sides of the plate, so 2 for 8. Yep. So now, what do you want to hit? Do I want to look away? Do I want to look in the middle of the plate? Boy, so many options where the bases are loaded and the pitcher's in trouble if you're a hitter. But the number one option is try to get a good pitch to hit.
Cisco, the 7th batter to come up here in the first. Inside ball 3, so he falls behind 3-0 with the bases loaded. Cisco has walked only 8 times on the year, but he does have a very good batting eye.
Well, he's taking here.
And a strike in the inside corner, 3-1.
And if you're Vidal Nuno and you got a little bit of experience, I mean, his best year was what, the year before last when he pitched in 55 games for Seattle. I mean, you got to throw something. Whatever you can throw over here, you throw it and hope you get an out. Yep, good take there. Great take. Young hitter, easy to be over aggressive. Takes a borderline pitch. Smart hitting. There's your second run. And you get Gentry up, who's playing because you want the matchup of righty versus lefty. Yeah, we thought that Austin Pruitt, but it's kind of surprising that already, and I'm wondering if they're going to get somebody up as Kyle Snyder comes out to talk to Nuno. You would think that early on, now of course they're going out to the West Coast. They have a long West Coast trip. I'm sure Kyle's saying, hey, it all starts with throwing strike one. Couldn't do that to Cisco. Yeah, Kyle Snyder, I was talking to B-Rob, Brian Roberts, doing radio, and he said, yeah, that was my college roommate and my best man at my wedding.
How about that?
Yeah, Kyle Snyder come on for Jim Hickey, who went over to the Cubs. Hickey, of course, one of the premier pitching coaches and did a great job down here. So B-Rob said, oh, yeah, great guy. I said he was, because I talked to him on Friday and he thanked me for talking to him. And I'm going, no, it's the other way around. Thank you for talking to me.
You're the guy getting information.
Exactly.
So here's Gentry. He bunts. Nuno looks to first and safe at first base. He beats it out.
The boys have come to play. Oh, yes. You never, ever would think that. Cisco takes a borderline 3-1 pitch. Gentry, if you're a veteran going, okay, hey, you're going to give me the bunt. And Nuno's thinks, but if you're left-handed, you got to do a 180 to throw to home. And by the time, because Gentry can run, he decides to go to first. No chance. Smart offense. And Tim Beckham visiting with the boys today, coming off the, he's not off the DL, but he had the core injury. Surgery, so he's feeling good. Take a look right here. I mean, they give you the bunt, you take it. Smart baseball. And you could see Nuno just see if he had a play, but it's a tough throw because you're throwing against your body.
Yeah, and the split second cost him at first. Chase Peterson, the 9th batter, so the O's bat around here in the first and put 3 on the board. They had 3 hits in the entire game yesterday. They've had 3 hits here plus 3 walks in this first inning. Peterson is 2 for 16 on the road trip. Knocked down by the catcher Wilson Ramos.
Yeah, nice play right there. Smothered it, kept it in front of him. Couldn't do that in the first on Friday night. Led to a run. Sweeping slider from Romo. Nice block.
Ramos has caught all 3 games.
Get a base hit here. Maybe a double. It's going to be 5-6 run inning. Yeah, good take again there, because the one thing about Jace Peterson, I saw him play a couple of years ago in Atlanta, and I was when he came over to the Orioles, he said, the one thing I try to do is control the strike zone. And what he means by that is, and it's hard to do sometimes, especially when you're not playing, is, you know, am I going to swing at balls or am I going to swing at strikes? Am I going to have discipline or not?
Fly ball to right. That's playable for Gomez. He's got it, and the inning ends, but a big inning for the O's. They bat around and score 3. Kevin Gausman goes to work with a lead. Loaded, and that got in that 3rd run in the 1st inning, so a big 1st inning for the O's as they get the early lead. Here's the Rays lineup for the rubber game. Brad Miller in the leadoff spot, and C.J. Cron will DH and bat second. Good head-to-head numbers head-to-head against Kevin Gausman. Wendell Ramos and Robertson with Smith in center, then Gomez, Arroyo, and Ref Snyder.
Kevin Gausman looking for win number 4, so the splitter. Boy, did he have a good one. Of course, he had a great fastball too. No runs in 6 1/3 innings last start in Chicago. Last pitch, tell you how good the fastball was at 99 miles per hour. Bullpen couldn't hold the lead. The Orioles lose 3-2 against this team. You know, again, 1 run in 3 starts last year. If you go all the way back to 2016, 4 runs in 40 innings. So he's been lights out against the Rays. So it's still got to do his job, though. You know, I think a lot of times when you pitch well against a team, they say, well, you just throw your glove out there. No, that's not the way it works. I'm sure he's aware of that, especially after the offense they put on yesterday. Hit it all over the ballpark for 5 runs and 11 hits.
One on the foul ball on Brad Miller.
Yeah, normally he'll start right where he is here, about 90 this year, and then he'll go, you know, 94, 5, whatever he needs. And Chicago started at 93 to 94 in the 1st inning, and then ended at 99 with the fastball velocity.
It's a fastball by him there, 1-2.
Better against lefties and righties. 231 with 3 of the 10 home runs. Righties hit him at 295. Split fingered fastball, big reason. Of course, in Chicago, it didn't matter who was up. He'd throw it to both of them, and it was really good.
Yeah, 10 strikeout game for Kevin. That was on Tuesday. He had the 2nd game in that 4-game series. It's his 3rd start on this road trip.
And, you know, and again, that's you warm up. The last game, the splitter was great. The first one he threw right there, he got underneath it, and he wasn't even close. The impressive thing about Chicago was that he really pitched kind of backwards the 2nd time through the lineup.
Ooh, that ball is crushed, and Tampa Bay's on the board.
Yeah, see, so again, down the middle, and the hitters don't care that their pitchers gave up 3 runs because they got to feel pretty good about themselves the way they swung yesterday. Of course, Miller went 0 for 4. So that mini slump goes down the tubes. That ball was blasted. There it is. Not last year, but 2 years earlier, he hit what, 30 home runs, career high. Went from 11 to 30. I mean, this is pretty much right down the middle, and he crushes it. So 3-0 goes to 3-1 in a hurry.
But at least it's a solo.
Oh yeah. Of course, it is the first hitter of the game. It's hard.
Minor point.
Yeah.
Crone takes ball 1. So for Gausman, the 11th home run he's allowed.
Only the 4th by left-handers.
2013 at Tampa Bay with Seattle.
C.J. Crone in his first season with the Rays, he was acquired from the Angels. Once they got Shohei Ohtani, he became expendable.
Yeah, the minute they got Ohtani, to pitch and to hit, and all of a sudden that meant that, because even though he's an outfielder, he was going to be at first base. And take a look right here. Ooh, Mark Wagner, right off the arm. That's got to hurt. Wow.
And right on the side of the bicep there.
I think it's safe to say he got hit a little bit harder than Adam thought he got hit. Rather obvious.
1-2 on Crone.
But
and he plunks him.
Yeah, well, hey, you want to stand around. I mean, that splitter goes down and in, and Crone, either he can't run, or he's going, why did I do that? It's got to hurt somewhere around the kneecap area. Yeah, you want to get on, but not this way. Ooh, front knee. Yeah, I mean, he got the front foot down. That's how you hit, and then wham, right in the kneecap.
Yeah, he didn't react to that ball at all. So Gausman got ahead of him and now hits him.
Yeah, that's one of those injuries that doesn't get any better unless you go in and ice it.
Second baseman, number 18, Joey Wendell.
So that gets the tying run to the plate here in the first.
Yeah, and it opens up holes. So Kevin Gausman doing what he certainly usually doesn't do, and certainly doesn't want to do.
Wendell has hit in 3 straight games. He takes a strike. He's getting a lot of playing time. Second base has become his position, now 28 years old.
Yeah, I was talking about Melvin, and I said, I saw Wendell play when we now manages the Oakland, which is where he came from. He said, I said, how about Wendell? He's a good player. We just didn't have room. And, all the way through the minors and even in limited bats in the big leagues, he's always seemed to hit. Because he doesn't like, that's to me, he hasn't hit well with runners in scoring position, but he's got a short swing and doesn't look like he tries to hit home runs. He'll hit it to all parts of the park. You can see right there a little inside out. Just trying to shoot it up the middle, maybe the left field. You speed up the bat like Castner did yesterday. That's where he hit the double, really the triple down the right field line, ran it into a triple. So if this was Chicago, and it's not, this would be a split fingered fastball. It would be a good one. It would fall off the table and Wendell would miss it and you'd get an out and a strikeout. But that was last start.
Double play ball, scope to Manny, and out at first base. What a throw from Machado.
Well, again, if it goes from the shortstop 6 to 4 scope, you have one of the best arms, and if it goes from 4 to 6, you got Manny, who's one of the best arms of any infielder in baseball, and that's how you turn 2. The Crone is not running because he doesn't want to get doubled up on the line drive, but Wendell, I mean, he just comes flying out of the box. So 1 pitch and 2 outs. Happy about that. Are they going to look at it?
No, they're not going to challenge. They took more than the 30 seconds they're allotted. Here's another look. Yep, his foot was still in the air.
Barely.
Well, Ramos bats with the bases empty.
So the defense for the O's with Jones out, Mancini, Gentry moves to center, Peterson in right field. We've seen him all over the infield. Valencia, Machado, Scope. Chris Davis DH yesterday. He's over at first, and Chance Sisco already with an RBI. Bases loaded, walk behind the plate.
Ramos 6 home runs on the year. Second season with the Rays after he left the Nationals as a free agent. Center field for Gentry. And he's got it. So Gosman gets out of it, allowing just the 1 run. We head to the second, 3-1 O's. $100 for being selected, and we'll win $500 more for every Orioles home run hit today. You can play Home Run Riches scratch-offs and win up to $50,000, or enter those non-winning tickets for a chance to become the contestant of the game. Visit mdlottery.com/homerun. A little sweetie here at the game, Rays fan. That's an interesting binky. It has a animal attached to it. A little stuffed animal. So Nuno stays on. Here's Mancini, who led off the first with a bounce out. Towards the middle. And it gets on through for a base hit. Mancini will take it. That snaps his 0 for 12. So the Orioles today closing out this 11-game road trip. And here are the numbers so far on the trip as they're looking for their 5th win. But Jim, it's all about the batting average. It has been up and down all year.
Well, it has, and again, we talked about it in the opening. You know, they're last in on-base percentage. They're stealing a few more bases because Gentry does that. They don't walk a lot, strike out too much. So again, you got to either hit home runs or play smart baseball, which they've already done. And then look at the runner in scoring position number. Last year it was second best in the American League. This year they've been struggling to be able to do a better job in that category.
Pedro walked in the first. He came around to score on the sac fly by Davis. He has faced Nuno only once in his career. He's 0 for 1. When Nuno signed with the Rays, it was a minor league contract, and he did pitch in AAA this year. And as Jim mentioned, just recently called up, in fact, for this series. They have several relievers in that bullpen who have options, and they use them. In fact, Banda, who pitched so well yesterday and got the win, he was sent out after the game. He's heading back to AAA. Alvarez to center field. Malik Smith looked like he misjudged it, but he recovers. And back to first goes Mancini, and 1 away. Well, the Birds are heading home after the game, and they will host the Nationals for a 3-game series. All gets going tomorrow afternoon, and why not come out and join us and kick off your summer with a special 105 Memorial Day matchup. And all fans tomorrow receive an Orioles Memorial Day t-shirt. Plus on Wednesday, the first 20,000 fans 15 and over receive an Orioles cooler backpack presented by Visit Sarasota. Tickets at Orioles.com. And it'll be nice to get home.
You see pretty much fastball cutter, and again pitched for the Orioles last year. 12 games, 14 2/3 innings, 23 hits, 17 runs, 7 home runs.
This is it slowly. Robertson has one play, and he gets Machado at first. Mancini moves into scoring position with 2 men down.
Yeah, Hechavarria with the hamstring problems of Daniel Robertson, who can play all over. He played really well. I mean, not only get 3 hits yesterday, but he was, the diving play to his right, up the middle, short hops. It's like he's a pretty good middle infielder.
So Jonathan with an RBI chance. He singled and scored in the first.
There's a changeup perfectly thrown down and away. Yeah, Nuno, I mean, the same repertoire that Ryan Yarbrough, who came in on Friday night, had, except that Yarbrough's 6'5".
This one is skied to shallow left. Robertson and Refsnyder in the left fielder calls, and he's got it. So the O's go down in the second. Base hit a man left. Bottom of the second coming up. 3-1 O's. Make today the day. And by Ocean City, there's no end to the fun you'll have in Ocean City. Plan your trip today at ococean.com. Pretty overcast outside, very muggy. But cotton candy cures all. He is a stuffed animal toy also.
Oh, yep. Well, subtropical storm. I know you remember the name. Alberto.
Let's hope that Alberto arrives after we depart.
Well, it's kind of offshore, and they had their weatherman on the Diamond Vision here saying that, through tomorrow. A little more velocity. Yeah, you go back to the first inning. The Orioles get 3 runs. Miller hits the home run. Cron gets hit. Line drive by Wendell for double play. Ramos hits a line drive. So
there's a chopper. Gosman plays it nicely and gets it to Davis for the out. And one away here in the Tampa Bay second. Well, don't forget this season at Oriole Park, kids cheer free. That's right. Bring your young Orioles fans ages 9 and under to Camden Yards free of charge. Every adult who purchases a regularly priced individual game ticket in the upper deck is invited to bring up to 2 children free. And while you're at the ballpark, you can check out the new and improved Kids Corner featuring the Birdhouse. For your tickets, Orioles.com/kidsfree. Oh, we have pizza. And a lot of napkins. Ball 1 to Malik Smith. He is a very patient hitter. get a look at our league leaders, brought to you by Coons. When you're talking cars, you're talking Coons. In infield hits, he has a lot of speed.
Yeah, so you could see the Mariners. D. Gordon, of course, he went on the DL with the toe problem. Well, Segura also plays for the Mariners. Also 3 bunt hits. That's why Valencia's in at third. I mean, you got to play in. Take the bunt away from him. And Kevin Gausman with a 3-1 lead. Last thing he wants to do is walk him. Then I say that because he's not going to hit home runs. He hit, what, 1 last year.
Taken all the way, and it's in there for a strike.
Yeah, and I think a lot of times a young hitter right here, if you know the game, you're going, you know what? I may just take another one. Any borderline pitch I'm taking, looking fastball, middle of the plate, throws me one, which he's probably going to do right there.
And he pops it up. Shallow left center, Mancini and Gentry. And Mancini calls off Gentry, or Gentry just gets out of the way. And 2 down. Well, here are the ranks at Tropicana Field, Jim, and this is regarded as a pitcher's ballpark.
It's the only one in the American League East. If you look historically at Tampa Bay, they've had some really good pitching staffs. They're always, last year was almost a run a game. Better here than it was on the road. Yes. That's a good place to pitch. You know, if the wind's not going to blow out, because it's going to be the same, and it's going to be what's the temperature? Usually 72, somewhere like that. The turf is a somewhat slow turf. They redid that, so it slows the ball down a little bit. It's not like the old turf in like Kansas City when you're playing in 100-degree temperatures and every single is a double because the ball's going to kangaroo hop over your head. So plays pretty true.
This cued foul, nothing in 2 on Carlos Gomez, the right fielder. He was activated prior to yesterday's game from the disabled list after they traded Denard Span during batting practice on Friday night. Span was in the Rays lineup, and then it was announced that he was dealt to Seattle along with Alex Colomé.
And I think we should probably tell the people listening who Alex Colomé was. Last year, 47 saves, the most in the American League. This year, still, I think he had 11 out of maybe 15. He was kind of started out sporadically, but they were probably going to trade him at some point anyway, and maybe that's the best deal. As we mentioned yesterday, they won the first game in Kevin Cash's team, and then they lost 8 in a row, and they ended up 3-12, worked their way almost back to 500, and 3 games under. And then the next thing you know, 2 of your better players are heading west.
2-2.
Wow. 96. So kind of getting back to where he was in Chicago for Kevin Gausman. Fastball count, and he almost hit it right off his thumbs.
Well, the Rays are rebuilding. There's no doubt about that. And they are stockpiling as many credible prospects as they can.
Here's another one. Well, in the old days, of course, Elrod Henry caught and was a coach for the Orioles about 38 years, but he'd sit in the bullpen, and when a guy take a swing like that off his fist, off his knuckles, he'd be waving a white towel. Of course, you were also winning.
Fights it off again.
Well, the fastballs, they just got in on his fist. That's a pretty good splitter, so he's able to stay alive. 0 for 2 yesterday, but did walk twice.
He's about to see an 8th pitch. Weak ground ball past the mound, but there's scope. And Gausman has a 3-up, 3-down inning. We are through 2 at the Trop. 3-1 O's.
sharing a photo or video with hashtag #HatsOffForHeroes. For each post, T-Mobile will donate $1 to support veterans.
Well, on this Memorial Day weekend, there's a Vietnam vet in attendance at the game today. We remember all of the American military servicemen who sacrificed their lives for our freedom. And we recognize their tremendous sacrifice on this weekend, and in particular tomorrow on Memorial Day. There's Davis into the shift. And he's retired one away. That was a shortstop. Robertson in the middle over there.
Yeah, usually put your guy with the best arm and maybe the best range into the deepest part of the shift. This here, because it's turf, the ball gets to you a little bit quicker. So, but he actually was maybe playing a little less shallow than a lot of guys. But Chris Davis, to his credit, I mean, he aired it down the line. I'm sure he thought that, you know, you kind of look around where everybody's playing. You know by now because they shift almost all the time on him, but certainly hustled down the line and made it. If you bobble it at all, it's going to be an error.
Valencia was walked intentionally his first at bat, which backfired on Tampa Bay. It loaded the bases, and then Francisco worked a bases loaded walk for an RBI.
Well, the only guy that you match up against by bringing in a lefty, because the Orioles are pretty much kind of a fixed lineup, especially, you know, but maybe a little different today because Jones is not playing, is Alvarez. But him, Jace Peterson down the end of your lineup. But Danny Valencia, it seems like even righties and lefties he's playing nowadays. He's been hitting well. Got to figure out.
There's Arroyo at third.
Yeah, a way to hit a little bit better on the road, but then again, do all the Orioles only hitting .218 on the road. Loves Camden Yards, well over 300.
So Nuno has settled down since he came on in the first. And the shift against Francisco. So they shift even on rookies.
But they take the bunt away because he's proved he can bunt. Very patient at bat against Nuno first time with the bases loaded. Now it helped that he went 3-0 and not any of them were close, but the 3-1 pitch. Yeah, I think Chance, he'll find that out, is that, okay, you are what you are. You're a line drive hitter. You'll hit occasional home runs. You know, you can work the count, but if you use the whole field, and we've seen him do that, whether it's breaking balls or fastballs go the other way, you just present yourself as the tougher out.
John Evans 2-2.
And then the swing gets a little bit shorter. You know, he's better low ball hitter than high ball hitter. So they'll work on that and try to shorten the swing. Yeah, right there, you speed up the bat, and you know, a lot of times that's how you end up hitting home runs. You know, 89 to 90 versus 85. You're just trying to hit the ball back up the middle, and all of a sudden the bat head is in the pull position. Yeah.
Wow.
Well, he almost kind of went back to get his catching gear. You can see him flinch, and then
so another 3-2 count. Cisco has hits in his last 2 games. He's 3 for 13 on the trip, and he's about to see an 8th pitch. So Nuno can't put him away.
Now, I mean, we first saw Vidal Nuno all the way back when, like 2013, he'd get an occasional spot start for the Yankees. Then he went to Arizona. Then he went to Seattle. They started him in what, 10 games for the Mariners. 2015, 2016, put him exclusively in the bullpen.
So Cisco keeps fouling him off. He's fouled off 4 in a row. He's about to see an 11th pitch. And he draws the walk. What an at bat.
But just think about it. If by doing that, Jim, you get to see the pitches, you get to see the spin, the velocity, you pick up the release point. Swing at the first pitch. Didn't really get a chance, did you? So one of the reasons he was able to take it is because of how many pitches he took. A pretty good slider. A lot of lefties will chase it. But hey, I saw 11 and whatever. Hey, I've already read it. I mean, that's why you try to throw strikes so hitters can't do that.
Gentry to center field. He has another base hit. So he goes after the first pitch. That gets Cisco into scoring position with 2 men down. Well, the Birds will be hosting the Yankees this coming week, Thursday, May 31st through next Sunday, June 3rd. And on June the 1st, it is Fireworks Friday, fireworks and music. It all features a post-game musical performance by singer-songwriter Elle Winter, followed by a fantastic fireworks display. And then on Saturday, June 2nd, you can watch the baseball classic The Sandlot after the game. Ticket packages are available to watch right from the field. So come on out and join us. Just get online, Orioles.com, for all the details. A lot going on in this homestand.
Well, fireworks both on and off the field on Friday night. Yankees coming in. Orioles could be home run derby. Trumbo will be back hopefully. I told him, I said, you know, Mark, with the knee inflammation. I said 4 hits. He said, yeah, that was too many in one game.
Slide did him in. So after 2 ground balls to begin the inning, the O's have a couple on.
Yeah, and they got somebody up in their bullpen. So Tim Beckham came in. I told him you look taller because he had his well, no, he had his tennis shoes on, and I looked down and they're like an 1.5 heel, but he's feeling good.
He's been rehabbing in Sarasota, and there's a walk to load the bases.
Yeah, let's see if they have somebody up in the bullpen, and I'm sure he's kind of in the with Mancini up. Yeah, so we thought we would see Austin Pruitt right away out of the chute, but they tried to match up lefty Nuno to Chris Davis, hit a sacrifice fly. So now you got a chance. And here comes Kyle Snyder. This could be a little bit of a Dean Smith, the 4-corner offense, the stall.
Already his second visit. Well, the coach doing all the talking here.
Yeah, seemed like a very, very nice guy. I told him, I still remember you pitching for Kansas City and all. He said, not very well, but I did, because he started some games. So he certainly was around, and now he's been in their minor league system as a pitching coach, and he gets to come in and replace Jim McKee.
Now, Trey Mancini, 6 of his 7 home runs have been hit early in games. How about that? First 4 innings of games. So he likes to get going early. Chop foul. His base hit in the second inning snapped an 0 for 12.
Yeah, he's trying to get back on track with runners in scoring position. He's about as good as, well, anybody on our team other than Adam Jones at 340. This year it's been a struggle. So a certain anxiousness kind of creeps in. There's a good pitch.
So Nuno trying to get out of this jam that all started after 2 outs. And then the shift on against Mancini. Right field. That's playable for Gomez. And he's got it for the out. So the Orioles leave the bases loaded. We head to the bottom of the 3rd. Gosman back to work. Time to act than today. PNC make today the day. Well, DJ Stewart certainly on the radar. He is off to a fine start at Norfolk. In fact, in the past 10 games, Jim batting at .303, 3 home runs and 8 RBIs. Last year, he had a big season for AA Bowie, a career-high 21 home runs. So the first-round pick of 2015. They thought he was the best college hitter in that draft, and he's starting to produce.
Well, it's taken a while, and of course, you know, when you're in college, I'm watching some of the college games yesterday, and I said they really should go to wood bats, and that's what you do. You know, use an aluminum bat, and then you have to make the transition. A lot of guys go to the Cape Cod lead, and the scouts get to see him. But you're right, and but it looks like at all facets of the game, DJ Stewart's playing a little bit better, and he's playing at AAA. Yeah, you would think if Mullins, who keeps playing well, get him to AAA. Maybe get a little bit better read. Shedrick down at AA Bowie, having a fine year.
3-0 on Arroyo leading off here in the third. Ref Snyder and Miller to follow.
Now, Kristen Arroyo, he was pretty much the headliner in the Longoria trade coming over from the Giants. Grew up I think in Lakeland, just outside of the Tampa Bay, St. Petersburg area.
He hasn't been getting a lot of playing time for the Rays.
Well, Duffy is, having one of those good years. He finally got healthy, so they sit him today, and what does Arroyo do? Walks. That's what they're looking for, down by 2 runs. Kevin Gosvin pitched against them on the 11th of May, and the Orioles got him 2 runs early. The Rays got a run in the 3rd. The Orioles got another one in the 5th, but they got 11 hits. But he kind of scattered them, which is a good thing to do, and then the Orioles would add runs at the end of the ball game to eventually win 9-4. But he only gave up a couple of runs, but 11 hits. So it's not like it's a done deal, even though your numbers last year and over the last 3 years have been good. You still got to go out there and do it, and I'm certainly aware of that.
That game on May 11th, in fact, that was the last win for Gosman. 1-0 on Ref Snyder.
Even though he's pitched much better than his record. They just don't score a lot of runs. Of course, he went to Boston, and they were asking me next door in the TV booth what happened with all the stolen bases. They hadn't even attempted a steal. He was just getting into a rhythm, and their scouts gave him the information, and they ran that well. So he's changed that. Then he goes to Chicago and pitches a whale of a game. Bullpen just couldn't hold the lead.
In search of his 4th win, which would put him above 500 at 4-3.
It's kind of funny when, not funny, but it's the reality is when your bullpen is undermanned in a sense because of injuries. The game before kind of set up what went on in Kevin's game, because when he left with a 2-0 lead, they had to bring in Givens, who had pitched 2 innings the night before because Cashner couldn't hold a 3-0 lead, or at least was in trouble. So again, normally when you have, and there is Michael, he's had a busy week, but when you have O'Day and Britton and whatever, you can probably withstand that a little bit better. But he's not near as sharp today as he was in Chicago.
Nice block by Cisco.
Yeah, and that can change. Getting the rhythm. But Ref Snyder with a nice day yesterday. He used right field well. Like they all did.
7 opposite field hits yesterday. Towards the middle, there's another base hit for Ref Snyder. So the first 2 reach in the Tampa Bay 3rd.
Well, you're the hitting instructor, and you got a lot of young guys. They're going to listen to you. Chad Matola. So right here, and again, this is to the glove side. Ball hit at 103 miles per hour. The only way you're going to catch it if it is to your glove side. That ball smoked. So there are the potential tying runs as Miller, who hit a home run already, steps to the plate.
Orioles have had base runners in every inning, but they've left 7 men on already. Brad Miller's 5th home run in the 1st. The only Rays run so far. Miller came over from Seattle. Ball 2.
Yeah, fastball for a home run, so you're trying to stay out of that zone. You can see. But I think he shocked the world, at least the hitting world, 2 years ago when he hit 30 home runs. I mean, it was such a departure, 19 more than he had ever hit in his career.
Left field, that's some carry to it. Mancini's back, and it's off the wall. Arroyo's going to score. Refsnyder's being sent. He's going to score, and we are tied at 3. And Brad Miller has all 3 RBIs for the Rays.
Yeah, Trey Mancini does not play this ball well because it's not an, I'm not saying it's an easy play because he smokes it. I mean, it's outside middle. It goes that way. And right there, you can't possibly think you're going to be able to catch it. I don't mean the fumble. But if he turns and plays it off the wall because it was drilled, Refsnyder, who's running hard, doesn't score. Now, he would be still at second and third with the 3-2 game. But again, by going all the way to the wall, it gets by him, then you know, because he's running. He got a great read, Refsnyder at first base. So again, one of those games where the secondary pitches, the splitter's not working, and they've made some nice adjustments and gotten fastballs to hit. It's all part of the process of learning to play. You know, it's so difficult sometimes because you want to make the play, you go back, and then no chance. And so it's not that it would have been a double anyway, but what you do is allow that other extra run to score.
So Brad Miller on at second, still nobody out. C.J. Cron was hit by a pitch his first plate appearance.
Well, one of those games behind, you know, he walks Arroyo. He didn't want to do that with a 3-1 lead. Gets behind Refsnyder, hits a single, gets behind Miller, hits a double.
And 2 of the 3 hits already opposite way. Breaking balls low.
Yeah, now you bring this guy up with, you know, one swing, and this is what he does. He hits home runs. Yesterday had a nice day, a couple of RBIs.
It's a fastball by him.
Yep, perfect pitch. Inside corner. That's how he got Gomez out to end the second inning. Right on his fist.
The ball and a strike on Cron. He's now in his 5th big league season. Strike on the corner.
They're not even close to the target, and you know, saw Mark Wegner going, okay, is he going to call it? Because Cisco kind of went in again. But again, it was a really good fastball as far as location. I mean, he missed by a foot or so, but right on the corner. And Cron says, I had no inkling of swinging at that.
And he got him. Cisco has to fire to first.
Yeah, so there's the good splitter. Bottom drops out. Now take a look at our Nissan pitch cast. So instead of being behind, he's ahead. And then you can throw that pitch. He chases, got yourself a strikeout and an out.
Cisco turned to change baseballs there. Fortunate to recover in time to get the out at first.
Well, he caught it in the air. I would imagine that's a tough call for an umpire because he's like trying to look over your shoulder, plus follow the pitch in.
Joey Wendell now. He'll take low. Kevin having a hard time getting ahead here.
Well, I'm sure that's what Roger McDowell said. Hey, throw strike one. You know, some days you don't have as good a splitter or slider or curveball depending on your repertoire. You got to be a little aggressive early on like that.
Osmond has allowed 3 runs on 3 hits. He's walked 1, and the 1 walk this inning came around the score. Brad Miller, the potential go-ahead run at second base. Good swing there, fouled it straight back.
But more velocity. It's such a, the longer you play, the more, and then you look at numbers, 4 runs in the last 40 innings, only 1 run in 20 innings last year, 2 this year, but they take that all away. And then you got the Rays. You know, if you looked at them yesterday, they didn't score on Friday night, but they came out hitting yesterday. So they're a young team trying to prove every day they belong in the big leagues, and that drives you. Talk about, well, you know, something that incentivizes as far as your approach to the game. Do you like it here? Or do you like it in AAA Durham?
Right. The 2-2 on Wendell. It was a tough out. All three. They're very patient, and they're willing to go with the pitch and take what they're given.
They're like the antithesis of what happened last year, where they hit 228 home runs and were 14th in runs, because it wasn't about on base percentage or whatever. It was just trying to hit home runs, which they did. And they couldn't get a clutch hit. 226 for the season. They're about 20 points higher than that coming in. So they've improved runners in scoring position numbers.
So this will be the 7th pitch coming up. Kevin Cash, their skipper. Buck looking on from the Orioles bench. Line to left, and that's going to be in there for a base hit. Miller's being sent. Mancini's throw airmails the cutoff man, and that lets Wendell get into scoring position.
Yeah, I think for the first time we've seen Trey Mancini struggles at the plate. It may be affecting some of his judgment in left field, because he usually is perfect at hitting cutoff guys. You know, you have no play. I mean, Miller, look at Miller. He gets a great read because he knows where they're playing. And then look at this throw. Great angle up here. He doesn't even get close to hitting the cutoff man. So not only the run's going to score anyway. You're down. Now all of a sudden you can see Wendell. He doesn't even hesitate. You know, not a good brand of baseball. And of course the good thing about it is he knows that.
So the Rays have come all the way back and get the lead. 3 runs this inning. And Ramos with a runner in scoring position, and that throw also took away the chance for a ground ball double play to end the inning.
That's the whole point. This guy, if you keep it in the ballpark, if he hits it on the ground at somebody, it is 2.
Yeah. There's another base hit. Wendell's going to be held at third. Mancini this time does hit the cutoff man, although it skips on past Danny Valencia. So first and third, and still only 1 down. Fans, the Orioles are hosting the Red Sox Monday, June 11th through Wednesday, June 13th. And on Tuesday, June 12th, middle game in that series, first 25,000 fans 15 and over receive a Dylan Bundy bobblehead. So visit Orioles.com today, get your tickets, and come on out and join us.
Yeah, there is Dylan Bundy. Did his side work yesterday.
So still only 1 down. Runners on the corners.
Brings up Robertson. Hit the ball right back to high chopper to Kevin Gausman the first time, but 3 for 4 yesterday. Oh, Mike Wright Jr. loosening up for the Orioles. Yeah, one of those days where you don't have your secondary pitches. It's like Pruitt. Yep. If you're Kevin Gausman, and hoping you may get a double play here. And yep. I'll tell you what, the squeeze play or the safety squeeze where you just get it down, even though he took it, I don't know if that was on, is a heck of a play here when you're struggling for runs, because what it does is a lot of times they'll get a run in. That would be the 5th run, and would also get Ramos, who can't run, into scoring position. Now I don't know if that's going to help, because it's tough for him to score after having a knee surgery from second. Good pitch there. Kevin is scuffling for his life here, and he knows, you know, he's been around long enough now where he knows, okay, I haven't made the pitches I want to make. I have to get a little bit better. The good news again is that he's capable of doing that. But this is at one of those moments in the game where, hey, you got to reach down and back and get something.
Just inside, 3-1. Robertson hit a comebacker his first at bat.
Yeah, almost kind of like a Baltimore chop.
He is the 7th Ray to bat here in the 3rd.
So 62 pitches and a low percentage of strikes for Kevin. Only 36.
Well, probably guessing fastball there, and you didn't get it.
Nope.
Corkscrews into the ground.
So again, the sack fly zone. If you're at the green line, nope, don't try it. If you're at the red line, if you can throw, Gentry's got a pretty good arm. Mancini's more accuracy.
And inside ball 4, another close pitch that misses. Now the bases are loaded and only 1 out. Second walk this inning.
Yeah, and if you're Buck Showalter, as good as Gosman's been this year, if he's going to tell him where to play, he's going to give him a long leash because he deserves it. And again, he's been able to turn games around, and this is one of those moments he's going to need to do that.
Alex Smith has good speed.
So he's hard to double up. So again, we've seen the last couple of days they've gotten behind him. If you get strike 1, then all of a sudden a strikeout comes into play.
Those are going to play the infield up tight. There's a strike.
There it is. So you want to get to a count where you can again throw the splitter. Strike 1 gets you in the right direction.
Wendell, Ramos, and Robertson third to first. Slow chopper. Scopes only plays at first, and another run comes in as Wendell scores. That's a tough break there for Gosman. He made a good pitch, and the weak grounder enables Wendell to score.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's kind of from where our booth would. Just think if you're the Rays and you're Malik Smith manager or hitting instructor, you're going, you know what, he made contact. And Scope's thinking about coming home. He just sees there's no play, and so not only do they get the run in, and for the Orioles, unfortunately, you get the runners at second and third. So again, another one of those critical moments here in the third innings already with the Rays with 5 runs.
And here's Carlos Gomez, and Tampa Bay is batted around. He is the 9th hitter to come up in this third inning. Real good off-speed pitch on 1.
Yeah, he did went into the helicopter. You can see offensively pretty good afternoon so far for both teams.
Yeah, but the Orioles have left 7 men on.
Yeah, well,
twice leaving the bases loaded. A little late on that swing, nothing in 2.
well, just came off the DL. I was reading a note, simulated game. He hit a couple of home runs, but yesterday nothing other than a couple of walks. Those are the runner in scoring position numbers for him.
He's been around. He's in his 12th big league season. Puts away from Cisco, but not far enough for Ramos to attempt.
Yeah, a little splitter, and then of course, you know, he blocks it. If there's a runner at first with speed, which is not the case, then you know maybe you're going to have a stolen base. But with a runner at third, you're not going to try to score on that because you can't see how far it is past or to the side of the catcher.
Oh, look out.
Yeah, we got a note today, and it tells you talked about Carlos Gomez being around. Since 2012, Gomez 113 home runs, 162 stolen bases. Only players since then that have had 100 home runs and 150 steals. Now, I'll tell you about Mike Trout. He's at 213 with home runs and 173 stolen bases. 5 for 5 yesterday, by the way.
This is outside, 2-2. Skipper's pacing, talking to his pitching coach.
Now, pitch count now at 71. Of course, the Rays like that.
And did it hit him?
Well, I think
it did.
Take a look. It's a little splitter that stays inside, and nope, he didn't go to swing at it. So looks like he's all right. Loads him up. Yeah, bottom of the right arm.
So the base is again loaded. Here's Christian Arroyo, who started this with a leadoff walk. So 4 runs in, and the Rays now with a 2-run lead at 5-3. Another hitter he falls behind, 1-0. Ramos, Robertson, and Gomez, third to first. And another base hit. Arroyo goes the opposite way. Here's Ramos to score. Robertson right behind him. The throw is too late. And Tampa Bay all of a sudden with a 7-3 lead.
Yeah, and that hit's going to probably force Buck Showalter to come out. I mean, again, you get behind, you made that point, and you get a young hitter. Now he can sit on the fastball. And then the approach, as we said yesterday, last 2 days have been impeccable as far as using the whole field. And he hit it hard.
So Gausman leaves after just 2 2/3 and trails 7-3.
Kevin Gausman, they get him a 3-0 lead. Did not have, well, he had velocity, just didn't have command any of his pitches. They did a nice job, so he's going to have to leave. Mike Wright Jr. will come on. Pitched in Chicago, pitched an inning the other night, and strikeout, 1 inning, no hits, threw the ball well. So he's on a couple of occasions, at least over the last couple of years, but this year 4 2/3 innings back on the 8th of May against Kansas City in long relief. What he's done well is inherited runners. 0 for 7. Done a nice job in that category. A little cutter that misses by a mile.
All right, last worked on Tuesday in Chicago. That was the Kevin Gausman game. Excuse me. It was Wednesday in Chicago. So the day after Kevin pitched. He's put together 3 consecutive scoreless appearances.
Yeah, he pitched in the 11-1 ball game. Yeah, the lines were good, better velocity. The first 2 pitches here, cut fastballs. There's another one. What they've done a great job of is, talking about Tampa Bay's hitters, is that you have a game plan, you know what a guy can do or whatever, but even with Gausman, as good as he's been, they were able to eliminate pitches because of the count, and then they're just hitting where it's pitched, not over swinging. They got 5 runs, 11 hits. In the 5 previous games yesterday, they'd only gotten 11 runs. So they woke up the offense after getting shut out on Friday.
A 4-pitch walk. Well, of the 6 hits for Tampa Bay, 4 have gone opposite field. Yesterday, 7 of the 11 hits were opposite field. So the willingness to hit it where it's pitched.
Yeah, and then of course you get helped out by the fact that you fall behind and you can kind of sit on pitches. They've done a nice job of that. Well, they need an out here. They don't, but the Orioles do. Already doubles, home run, and then a double. I mean, screamed it off the left field wall, home run, deep right field.
It's 5 in a row out of the strike zone.
Yeah, that one pretty close to being a strike. Little cutter.
Gomez, Arroyo, and Refsnyder, third to first. And there's the Orioles defense playing back with 2 down. Miller is the 12th hitter this inning.
Got to take a look right here. 2-1 fastball, and he just smokes it. 109 miles per hour, 436 feet. They say the ideal launch angle is what, about 26%, so he's lofted it even more. Wow, there's a pitch. Didn't get the high one, but got the low one at 96. I mean, we have seen Mike Wright all of a sudden trying to get more extension he was talking about, and the velocities come up, which is a good thing.
Cisco was on the other side of the plate.
Well, I'm not saying he hit the glove, but when
Still
you come in,
call.
yeah, when you come in, right, and especially with the bases loaded, you're looking for strikes. Yeah.
Well, it's 3-1, and there's nowhere to put him. A 6-run inning. And the Rays have erased that 3-0 first inning deficit. A big pitch here, 3-1 on Miller. Strike on the inside corner. Miller thought he had ball 4.
Yeah, I think he might have thought of the ball, but he's also looking out over the plate, and he has no interest in swinging at that. And then you do get the call. Looked like it got the inside corner, but it gives you an idea they're not swinging at pitchers' pitches in 3-1 counts. That would make it easier to get him out.
So the runners will go 3-2 with 2 down. And he got him. Foul tip held by Chance Cisco, but a big inning for Tampa Bay as they get the lead. Our M&T due-ups for the O's: Alvarez, Machado, and Stoke. Visit buyatoyota.com for great deals. Still overcast outside, 7-3 Tampa Bay with a 6-run bottom of the third to get the lead and chase Gosman.
Yeah, they brought the clouds on that 3-0 lead for the Orioles.
Pedro walked and scored in the first. He has since flied out. Nuno stays on to face the lefty. And Austin Pruitt, who's been warming up for 2 innings, it looks like he'll finally get in the game as they shift again on Pedro. With the shortstop in the middle on the right side. So the Orioles in both the first and the third couldn't get that big hit to break it open, but Tampa Bay was able to in their third inning.
Well, isn't that kind of what it's about sometimes? You know, even the best offensive teams, you look at the Yankees, the Red Sox, 1 and 2 in runs, and then when they don't win, most of the time it's, hey, they threw in a 1 for 9 with runners in scoring position or whatever. That doesn't happen very often. And
strike 3 called.
So that's a matchup we were talking about. The minute you take out Romo and bring in the lefty, you got Peters at the bottom of the lineup and Alvarez hitting 2. And he doesn't hit that against that many lefties. Tries to hang in there, but Nuno makes a nice pitch.
So here's Kevin Cash. He's going to play the matchups, and Nuno will leave. Pruitt comes on in the 4th.
One against the Orioles. In fact, this year, long relief, pitched against the Red Sox very well. He's, not an overpowering guy out of the University of Houston, 9th round draft choice. 91, got the slider, curveball, changeup. And against the Red Sox, pitched very well. Came in, Jake Faria had an oblique injury, so he had to leave. Gave up only 1 run in 5 1/3 innings.
So Machado, the first batter to face Pruitt. And he'll take a strike. And he singled back in the first inning. He came around the score. Pops it up. Second baseman Wendell. 2 down in the Oriole 4th. So 91 out of 3. We'll head to the bench, and that'll bring up Scope.
Yeah, a little hanging something, breaking ball. And again, he's got a change up. He can turn it over. Got away with it a little bit. Usually, man, he drives that ball to right center field. See, right on the first base side, gives him that outside corner angle.
Pruitt now 28 years old. He was drafted by the Rays back in 2013. Foul back of the plate.
Yeah, a little slider cutter around outside corner. I mean, he's typical of most of the guys that came through their organization, whether it's Cobb or Faria or whatever. That he gets a lot of starts at the AAA level. or Double-A as he worked up. I mean, 26 at Montgomery, 28 at Durham. You know, last year actually 8 starts in the big leagues in 30 games. And you know, make a determination. If he's a 4-pitch pitcher, hey, maybe he's got a chance to start. Otherwise, he can be a long man in the bullpen. Which, and again, this year with all their injuries and trying to, you know, what you got, Archer and Snell as the only 2 guys that are been healthy. Now that Faria's hit the oblique, he's going to get a lot of innings.
Pop foul back of the plate. Well, the Rays' philosophy is they really do bring pitchers along slowly, especially high school pitchers. But even a college pitcher like Pruitt, 3.5 full years in the minors before he finally made his big league debut last season.
Because he's not a power guy. You know, saying, okay, learn to pitch.
Another 1-2 to Scope, and he got him.
Yeah, there's a good slider. Goes straight down.
So Jonathan down on strikes, and the O's go 3 up, 3 down in the 4th. Seafood to world-class cuisine. Visit SavorSarasota.com. Be a little bit of break in that overcast out there. Those fans here at Tropicana Field. Hey, he's got the Memorial Day weekend hat on. C.J. Cron against Wright.
Ooh, it's going, nope. No, there he goes. Got hit in the kneecap the last time on a splitter. This is just a fastball up and in. And what am I, a pincushion?
Well, he's already been hit now 7 times this year, so a lot of it is how he sets up at the plate.
Well, he's off the plate, but look at him come in. I mean, he's a little bit open right here. Well, I don't know. Did it hit him?
Didn't look like it did.
No.
But he's awarded first base. There's Joey Wendell. Wendell singled and drove in a run, then scored in the 6-run bottom of the 3rd inning.
Oh, he had a good bat the first time. You know, home run, and then I mean they hit a lot of balls hard in the 1st inning, so there was a little bit. I think it was more command issue for Gausman, and then but he hit a double play ball that he scorched, but it was one hop, a kind of a short hop to Scope, and they turned the double play. He just looks like he knows how to hit, and he knows himself. Great thing about coming to the big leagues is, you know, he wasn't going to get a chance in Oakland. Here he is, and he can run a little bit. You know, how good a base stealer, that'll be up to him. But he has the speed to steal bases.
Ball and a strike on him. Pass it back.
Yeah, very content just with that inside out swing, and then I think the more at bats you get, seen with a lot of guys, then they they go, okay, I'll look for counts. Hitters get behind them, especially if you run and you got a pretty good eye of the strike zone. You take the close pitches, and 2-0, 2-1, 3-1. You can drive the ball a little bit more as you get more at bats. But we're now very content hitting it back up the middle into left field.
It's a piece to stay alive.
Pretty good pitch right there by Mike Wright Jr. right to the glove.
Well, Joey Wendell was drafted originally by Cleveland. That was in 2012 out of Westchester University in Pennsylvania. They traded him a couple of years later to Oakland for Brandon Moss. And as Jim mentioned earlier, the Athletics traded him here to the Rays this past December for one-time Orioles draft pick and prospect Jonah Heim, a catcher. A little bit low, he wouldn't chase.
Yeah, just think about it. Short swing. Pretty good foundation at the plate. So it's hard to get him out on his front foot. Looks like he handles the ball inside maybe 2/3 of the plate. So it either gives you the inside corner or the outside corner. Good pitchers try to pitch there anyway. Yep.
And he got him.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen, at least I have, over the last 2 starts, Mike Wright Jr. getting back to the velocity that he had when he first came up. Trying to work on his extension. Going the heck with his 2-seam fastball and trying to turn over. So mechanics better, line better, not falling off as much. I mean, he still falls off because he's a big guy, but all of a sudden throwing the ball. Or throwing it and pitching the ball, as they go hand in hand.
Strike on the corner. Good pitch.
Perfect. Well, out of options, so the Orioles, he's going to pitch. Why not take advantage of it? And you can resurrect your career. Kind of a must-to guy when you get in trouble.
Well, you got to have somebody to eat up innings, in particular a travel day after the game and then a day game tomorrow. The Nationals will be in town, and ironically, the Nationals are also in the state of Florida. They're in Miami today. The O's and Nats will be racing the BWI. 0-2 on Ramos. And he got him. Foul tip.
Yeah, it's a 94-95. Gets a couple of cutters, sliders that stay up, and then goes to the fastball. Yeah, again, I mean, watch, he just gets through his wind up a little bit better. Back spins the 4-seam fastball right by him.
Good to see that velocity.
Yeah, well,
we haven't seen that much.
Yeah, I saw that in Chicago, and I walked in with him. I said, best I've seen you throw.
Well, 2 down for Robertson. A little late on the swing.
Yeah, they've done a nice job, and we talked about it all day yesterday, of the fastball inside, not trying to pull it, just trying to stay inside. And I said yesterday, almost like a hit and run.
Overthrows that one. That must have been a cutter.
Yeah, sometimes you try to throw a slider and you just don't get your hand. It gets under it a little bit, and all it does is spin and it backs up. But he does throw a cutter. Sometimes hard to tell between that and actually the slider.
A ball and a strike on Robertson. Popped it up. Shallow right. Scope has a long run. And he gets there. Nicely done by Jonathan Scope. So that'll retire the side. Hit batter and a man left. We are through 4. Scope takes a base hit away from Robertson. Caps. You can visit Orioles.com/auctions to bid on these autographed and authenticated game-worn jerseys and caps. All the proceeds will benefit the Fort Meade Alliance. Bidding closes Sunday, June 3rd at 10 p.m. Visit Orioles.com/auctions today. And we would like to recognize 3 members of our crew who are veterans of the military. Mike Munez, an engineer. He was in the U.S. Air Force. Rob Diaz, audio technician, U.S. Navy. And Jim Smith, one of our cameramen, who was in the U.S. Army. Thank you all for your service. Chris Davis leads off. Valencia and Cisco to follow. Chris drove in a run with a sac fly in the first. He has hits in his last 2 games, but he's still just 4 for his last 44. Austin Pruitt came on to get the final 2 batters in the 4th.
What you'd like to get, trailing by 4, a little help. So again, if you're Chris Davis, he's done a nice job of walking. He walked a couple times in Chicago the last game. I mean, right here, he doesn't throw a strike. Yeah.
Deep down the line, that is hooking and is foul.
Not by much.
Wow. That almost hit the pole, looked like from our angle.
Well, it's kind of hard to see from that angle, but you know, if you're standing at home plate, you know if it's fair or not. Especially when they put the wiring up, and most places extended the height of the poles.
Strike 3 right down the middle. So Davis called out. 2nd strikeout for Pruitt. 1 away in the Oriole 5th.
Yeah, 73 times last year, and I mean, it's pretty much right down the middle of the plate.
Now here's Valencia. Danny, an intentional walk in the 1st. He is also grounded out. Five in a row retired by the combo of Nuno and Pruitt. Since Nuno loaded the bases after 2 outs, nobody on in the 3rd, but the O's couldn't score.
Yeah, I think if you're Kevin Cash, you want to pitch Austin Pruitt at home, where he's 1-0 with a 1.46 ERA. And that's what he did against the Red Sox. Doesn't get that call, but on the road, he's 0-2 with an 8.10. And I'm sure nobody can explain why. Dimension's different, but it's still 60 feet, 6 inches. And
well, this is a good pitcher's park. Strike on the corner. 3-1.
I mean, I can't explain why the Orioles are 7-22 on the road. I can look at the numbers and tell you, well, they give up, over, about a 5.4 runs a game, and they score about 3.5. But why? Just. There you go.
Valencia goes with the pitch. Base hit.
Hey, you would think after a while you watch their guys doing that, you'd try to do that. And Danny's been swinging the bat well. So while Tim Beckham, is on the DL because of the core surgery and all that, he's done a nice job.
There's Tim. He's visiting his teammates today.
He walked in. He said, "Where's the music?" I go, "Well, that's what you're about."
I thought Adam was in charge of the music.
Well, Adam wasn't playing today, so he was in looking at his bats just in case he has to pinch hit later in the game.
And Cisco, he has walked in each plate appearance. First time with the bases loaded for an RBI. Orioles are 9-15 in the month of May, after going 8-20 to begin the year.
Yeah, this kid can pitch a little bit. Of course, we see him, and now all of a sudden, he's throwing changeups and cutters and sliders and fastballs, and comes in with a 4-run lead, so and relax a little bit.
Ahead of Cisco, 0-2.
And then they put the shift on. Now they shift.
There's a bouncer into the shift. That's Robertson, the shortstop, to the second baseman Wendell, and back to first with a double play. So that erases that 1-out base hit. Those retired in the 5th, mid-5th at the Trop. Tampa Bay with a 7-3 lead. VisitAnnapolis.org. Create your moment at VisitAnnapolis.org. Uh-oh, the clouds are back.
Well, subtropical storm. Like my Wi-Fi in Palm Beach, in and out. It's kind of the way it is. You have a lot of nice things in Palm Beach, but the Wi-Fi.
Why is that?
Well, because it's not cable, it's not underground. I'm not going to throw a telephone company under the wires, but you just don't get a very good signal strength.
Alex Smith fouls it back.
They're working on it, They're working on underground. 10-year plan.
Oh, okay.
So I'm in trouble.
So by the time they get it, you won't use Wi-Fi?
No, I may not be around. You never know. You know, you come to Florida. You know, early bird specials. A lot of people retired, but they don't vote for road restoration. They don't buy green bananas, and they don't care about redoing the beaches because they don't know if they're going to be around. I mean, that's one of the sayings. Think about it. You're old. You're retired. You know, you never know. You're day to day. That's really what it comes down to. You're turning 60, so you don't understand what I'm talking about. You'll get there.
2-2 on Smith. So you don't vote for the road?
I vote.
What, don't you want to fix the roads?
Well, I'm genuine.
Oh.
Yeah. No, I want the roads to be good. And I like my bananas. Ripe, not green, but riping.
Well, but you buy them green and then they ripen.
That's exactly right. But a lot of people don't. You have had to have lived here as long as I have, and you kind of know these little things.
For me, it's 5 weeks a year.
Yeah, that's a lot. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love Florida.
You just don't like green bananas.
They don't like green. I like them.
Another way and another base hit.
Well, this is a tutorial on hitting. Nice play by Mancini this time. And I'm sure Wayne Kirby said, hey, just get the cutoff, man. That's what you do. And that's what he usually does. So it's in the middle of the plate. He just says, okay, my job is to get on base. But look at the swing. I mean, he stays on top. It's like he's chopping wood. It's like a new offensive approach after David Hess kind of, worked his way through what, 6 2/3 innings on Friday night. He pitched really well.
Yep. 6 2/3 scoreless on 4 hits. Gomez trying to go to right field.
There's a hole there. Yeah, the 5.5 holes between shortstop and third. Tony Gwynn made it famous because he won 8 batting titles and ended up in the Hall of Fame. So the 3.5 hole, if you want to call it that, is between first and second. It exists for right-handed hitters. Holding the runner on, we'll see if he runs. Stolen 11. Now we're seeing a whole different Mike Wright. I don't know how he's going to fare, but if you keep pitching like this, I'm going to hang around.
Well, it's encouraging that the velocity's returning.
Yeah, it is. Well, because when we walked in the other day, I said, it's the best I've seen you. Now, I'm not going to go back to 98 mile per hour fastball he threw by Mike Trout in his first major league start. I just said your line's gooder. You're relaxed. He said, I'm trying to get more extension.
Gomez does go to right. There's Peterson. So Smith has to go back to first. Nicely played there by Jace Peterson, and 1 away. Fans, the Orioles are proud to join Johns Hopkins, the University of Maryland, and other corporate leaders to support Baltimore City's Youth Works program, which seeks to provide as many as 12,000 Baltimore City youth with summer employment. To donate, visit BaltimoreCityFoundation.org and choose Mayor's Office of Employment Development Youth Works. And to learn more, visit youthworks.oedworks.com. Now 1 down. Here's Arroyo. Now Alex Smith, 11 steals, as Jim mentioned, but he's been caught 5 times.
Yeah, the word is great speed. Still learning this the base running and instinct. In other words, got to learn what you need to do to steal bases. Also outfield. So a lot of natural ability, just trying to get the skill set that you need at the big league level.
Well, he certainly is taking advantage of Kevin Kiermaier's latest trip to the disabled list. He has a torn right ligament in his thumb. He had surgery, and he's on the 60-day DL.
Yeah, I saw him coming in the other day, so it's getting a lot better. But he's still, there's a certain plan. You know, you don't want to re-injure it.
Well, Kiermaier in 2016 fractured his left hand and missed 2 months. Last year, he fractured his right hip and missed 2.5 months. And he's back on the DL this year with the torn right ligament in his thumb. One and 0 on Arroyo. Ball 2. Kiermaier went on the DL on April 17th. Ball 3 upstairs. Arroyo had a 2-run single opposite field hit in the rally in the 3rd. 5 of the 7 Tampa Bay hits are opposite field hits.
Yeah, well, he got into a fastball count. Kevin Gausman, it wasn't a horrible pitch. It was just the count. He's looking for it down and away, and he hit it hard between first and second. Yeah, I walked up to him the other day. And of course, when you trade, you know, a franchise player like Evan Longoria to the Giants, and of course he was the main part of the return. So I said, "So you're the guy that took Longo's place?" He goes, "Not exactly yet." Nice young man, and he was born, what, I think a couple months after they came here to Tampa.
Smith runs. That ball's crushed to left. Mancini won't get it. He'll play the count. Smith held at second base to make sure that ball was caught, so he stops at third. And Arroyo's 2 for 2 plus a walk. He's having a big day.
Well, see, those are the instincts I think they were talking about with Malik Smith, because this ball is absolutely crushed. So this is, again, a 2-seamer, but it's a fastball count. He's sitting on it. He just rifles it one hop. And right here, hit the cutoff, man. Here you go. Yeah. But again, we've seen Arroyo, as most young hitters do. They're good fastball hitters. That's why they traded for him. And then when you get into those hitters counts, if you don't trick them or throw them at something other than a fastball, they become pretty good hitters. And you could see his first double, 125 at bats with the Giants last year.
So here's Refsnyder. He'll bat with the infield drawn in. Aggressive hack there, but he fouls it back. Refsnyder is 27. He's in his 4th season, born in Seoul, South Korea. And he was adopted at 5 months old by his parents, Jane and Cliff Refsnyder, in Laguna Hills, California.
He's one of my summer neighbors. Grew up in that area. Well, very athletic guy. He can play all over. Play the infield, can play the outfield.
It's a fastball by him 0-2. His given name, Refsnyder, was Kim Jung Tae when he was born in Seoul. He was a multi-sport athlete in high school, and then he went to the University of Arizona, where he concentrated on baseball, and the Yankees eventually drafted him in 2010. Rights ahead of him 0-2.
Yeah, see, you come out of your windup, and that's when Mike gets in trouble. He goes left, and what happens? Your arm is, I don't care how good an arm you have, you're 6'6", your arm drags, and that's what you talked about. It looked like a cutter or a slider. If you can stay over the pitching rubber just a little bit and slow everything down, then you can throw the good slider. And that's the pitch of choice here, you would think. But he's had a better fastball velocity, but Refsnyder is a better fastball hitter. See if he can throw a good breaking ball here. Yeah, there it was. That's more of a cutter, though. I think you were talking about the fact it's good to see the velocity. We just haven't seen the consistent breaking ball because he gets around it. So he's kind of.
Well, how do you correct that?
Well, you try to stay over the rubber, and if my front shoulder stays closed, my arm stays up. If it opens, I become like a merry-go-round. They see the ball better. My slider becomes flatter. You'd like to be able to throw a slider with tilt. Tilt's a ball that kind of goes down, but also across, not just stays flat and across. And And when you're not pitching well, you get a little anxious. But he's been better lately. Needs to make a pitch here.
The count holding 1-2 on Refsnyder. Nearly hit him.
Yeah, but again, you know, because their approach, Jim, is that I'm going to cover the plate and I'm going to stay inside the ball. You can watch him move. You know, he's coming in, and right here, this ball way inside. There's your Nissan pitch cast. And Buck Showalter looking on, saying, "Okay, throw a good breaking ball."
And he got him. That's a big out for Mike Wright. 2 down.
Wasn't exactly low and away, but it's a cutter that I think Rob Refsnyder thinks is going to break, and it doesn't. See where the target is, and it just kind of stays up, and he swings right through it.
There's Petey. Pedro Araujo. So here's Brad Miller. It's been a big day in the leadoff spot. That may have been a slider.
It was. And a good one.
Mike Wright came on with 2 down in the third to relieve Gausman. He walked the first batter he saw on 4 pitches, but then came back to strike out Miller.
Yeah, threw the ball right by him after he doubled and homered off of Kevin Gausman on fastballs, both in hitters counts. There's a changeup. Kind of one of those moment of truth. You get him out, you're down by 4. He hits a single, you're down by 6. And that's what Mike Wright would like to do. That's what the role of a long man is. Stop the bleeding and let the troops rally the troops offensively. Pretty good pitch there. There's that cutter.
Wright has struck out 4 since coming on. He's walked 1 and hit a batter. Although we're still not sure where C.J. Cron was hit by that pitch, but he was awarded first base.
Yeah, but how many times does he get hit twice in one game? Yeah, probably not that often. So all part of the storyline we talked about last night. Young man.
Well, he's been hit 7 times, Cron.
Yeah, but how many times twice in a game? That's.
Alex Smith is at third. I'm not sure who he's talking to because Valencia is ignoring him. 1-2. Strike 3 call right down the middle. He had to be looking for something else. 95 right there. We head to the 6th. 7-3 Tampa Bay.
Trying to win the rubber game here. A nice offense. The bunt by Gentry gets the third run in, and then just can't get it done with the bases loaded. Same thing with Mancini. A couple innings later. Yep. Not happy about that. And then here come the Rays. Miller already had homered. He doubles. They will get a 6-run inning. Arroyo singling in 2 as Robertson scores. So they come roaring back, lead at 7-3. Those are your Geico game highlights. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more in car insurance. Visit geico.com to see how much you could save.
Here's Craig Gentry, first ball swinging. It's Arroyo at third. Good arm. 1 down on 1 pitch.
Yeah, you get the young guys, and he is young. Talking about Arroyo, he does replace a guy that was one of the mainstays of. He's had a marvelous major league career, and Evan Longoria. I mean, he was kind of the guy everybody looked up to. Special player, Gold Glove winner. So he goes to San Francisco, and where the weather will be a little cooler most of the time. Because indoors here, you know what it's going to be here.
Oh, yeah.
San Francisco.
Well, it's a big advantage. The Rays never have to worry about rainouts at home, so they don't have to reschedule games at home. Peterson fouls it back.
Yeah, you looked at the forecast with this subtropical storm Alberto off the coast, and you're going, if this was Miami before they got their dome stadium, you would be going, there's your live shot right here. So there's just a lot of storm clouds and kind of moving offshore. It hasn't kind of right offshore. You say, well, if it didn't have a dome, you might not even be playing any of these games. Even though the rain hasn't been, I think, as heavy yet, hopefully, as you keep talking about. So, yeah, but the dome, the trop. You love the noise, I know that.
Oh, love it.
Well, their sound system is, again, it's Florida. A lot of people have hearing problems. I mean, you can't hear anything in here. You can't talk to anybody else.
You hang around in this dome, you're going to get hearing problems.
It's like going to a concert, sitting by the speakers.
Yeah, but at least with that, you know what you're getting into.
You mean you enjoy
the music,
the moment?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Go see Springsteen live. It's great.
Well, you like that noise?
Yes.
The Boss, come on, man.
Look at those speakers. Those are the types that you do see at concerts, the way they have that set up, the racks.
Well, they do concerts. Normally, when you play an afternoon game or a late afternoon game like yesterday, they would have a concert afterwards. That wasn't the case, even though they did have one kind of down by where we stayed.
Yeah, I saw a lot of activity there.
I heard the noise. The music, excuse me.
Strike 3 call. Peterson thought he had ball 4. Third strikeout for Pruitt.
Yeah, there's been a lot of low strikes called. This is going to be one of them. And again, how do you catch it? Look at Ramos right there. You can see again. I mean, he kind of catches it and then
moves it up a foot.
Yeah, it is on the corner, though. I mean, that is right on the corner. That played about 17 inches wide.
Off the end of the bat to right field. Long run for Gomez. Sliding try, and he made the catch. Wow, what a play by Gomez. Would have been a foul ball. Instead, it's an out. Celebrate O's Game Day. Dunkin' Donuts Perks members receive medium hot or iced coffee for 99 cents. Orioles home game days June through August. Your local Dunkin' Donuts is only a short stop away.
Sounds like your kind of place for that 1 cup of coffee you could have a day or so.
Well, Mike right back to work. 2 1/3 scoreless. Gets ahead of Crone.
Well, he got 6 in the 3rd, and he shut him out the last 2. It's a nice job.
Valencia deep third. This is going to be a real long throw.
Nice
and he
one.
got him. Nicely done.
Wow. I think he's going to be like a flamenco dancer and applaud himself, because he's a pretty impressive throw right there. Take a look at this. I mean, there you go. Danny V across the diamond.
There's Joey Wendell. He was part of the rally in the 3rd. RBI single and eventually came around the score. Takes ball 1 inside. Wendell was born in Wilmington, Delaware, but he grew up in Pennsylvania, West Grove, PA.
Now, do we know where that is? I mean, do you have any idea? I can kind of Google map it. It's closer to Philly or York or.
I don't think it's near York.
Well, no, we're. Okay.
He went to Westchester University, which is near Philly, I believe. 2-0 on him.
Chester County, Pennsylvania.
Well, 3-0. Here's a strike. Wright has struck out 5. 1 walk and 1 hit batter. 2 walks. So Wendell takes first with 1 down. Fans, MLB At Bat is your #1 Orioles app. You can customize your experience to catch every moment this season. Customize your Orioles home screen icon, plus features such as the MLB.TV Game of the Day, pitch tracking, in-game highlights, live radio broadcasts, stats, news, and more. Download MLB At Bat today. Pitching change at the Trop.
A lot of walks, high ERA. Command, sometimes good, sometimes not. But again, learning to pitch at the big league level, which is what has to happen with a Rule 5 guy.
So he inherits one on with one down and Ramos up. Ramos had a base hit in the third inning rally.
Yeah, they've kept him in the ballpark, which is a good thing, but he keeps getting base hits. If you hang a slider, make the good pitch, hits a ground ball, probably turn 2. For Pedro, his best out pitch is the split-fingered fastball, which he calls a changeup. When he throws it right, it goes straight down. And there it is. But for a ball.
Pedro last worked on Wednesday night in Chicago, an inning and a third, 3 runs on 2 hits. He also allowed a home run in that game. Adam Engel, a 2-run shot.
Yeah, got behind him and he belted a fastball left center field, and there's a good splitter. I mean, he has to pitch it that way, but can you imagine if you're 24 and you've 2 innings above Double-A, and then all of a sudden you rush to the big leagues, and where he gets in trouble usually is fastball command. He gets behind, and then he can pitch from anywhere from like 91 to 94. But to get to 94 usually has to come out of his windup. That probably will change as he gets more innings.
Runner goes, throw to second, bounces, and Wendell steals the base. His 4th of the year, so he gets in the scoring position.
Well, that's what he brings. Like I said, I mean, he's got the speed to steal bases. So if you're Kevin Cash, you know how quick or slow Araujo is. 1-hop throw. But he's really stealing that on the pitcher. And with 1 out, you get another guy in scoring position. Ramos coming in at 372 with runners in scoring position, having a great year. Now you can see now at 386. And there's another splitter that misses.
Tampa Bay really works the count.
Well, I think they have a pretty good idea. I mean, Wilson Ramos hit 2 home runs in a game last week. Right center, straight away center field, but they have a pretty good idea what the Oriole pitchers are trying to do.
And he walked him. Couldn't get him to chase, so that'll put 2 on with 1 down. Pedro walked 2 in his appearance in Chicago on Wednesday.
Yeah, I think in a perfect world, if you had Britton and O'Day, you could probably carry a Rule 5 guy, but it's really hurt the Orioles as far as the depth in their bullpen because of that factor. You knew Britton was going to be out, but the elbow problem with Darren O'Day, unexpected.
There's Robertson, the shortstop. Fouls it straight down at the plate. Robertson walked in the rally in the third. Tampa Bay sent 12 men to the plate and scored 6 runs in that bottom of the third, and chased Kevin Gausman as well. Fastball misses. 1-1. Wendell the lead runner, Ramos the trail runner. Popped them up. Shallow left, Manny, Valencia. Valencia calls, and in foul territory makes the catch. So 2 down, the runners have to hold.
Yeah, Araujo, heads up play because he covers third. See too many guys right out of A ball do that. Nice young man.
Yeah.
It's funny when you have Rule 5 guys who are sitting behind the cage. Dylan Covey would get his first major league victory the other night for the White Sox against the Orioles, and Joe McEwen, who's the bench coach, said he went 0-7 last year. He said it wasn't his fault. I said, what do you mean it wasn't his fault? He said, well, he shouldn't have been here. So when you do the Rule 5, you're hoping they'll do well, but it's usually a future hope.
Weak ground ball, Scope, and the quick shuttle just got him. Wow, Malik Smith can fly, and he always hustles. So Araujo gets out of it. Nicely done by Scope to get the final out. Our Ram do-ups as we head to the 7th. Alvarez, Machado, and Scope. And has allowed only 1 base runner, and that base runner, Valencia, was erased on a double play ball. Romo started, allowed 3 runs in just a third of an inning. The reliever starting again. Nuno was fortunate. He went 3 innings. He allowed 3 hits and walked 4, and somehow didn't allow a run. 7 base runners in those 3 innings of work. Pedro leads off. Walked and scored in the first. He has since flied out and was called out on strikes. Strike on the outside corner at the knees. Pedro does not agree.
I told Mark Wagner, I'll meet you at the, you're going to call that low pitch. I'll meet you at the first tee tomorrow. We'll just tee up the low fastball. Well, he's been consistent about calling that, and then but what happens is then you come back with a good changeup off it. That's how he might be able to favor the pitcher. And I've been reading about, you don't want to pitch down anymore because, everybody's lost launch angle and all that, and everybody's become low ball hitters and all that, but it's still a pretty good place to pitch, especially if you can do it down and away like that.
There's a chopper. This ball is trouble. That's Wendell. Nicely done. Well, Manny Machado, he certainly is getting it done. And here is the highest percentage of a team's total bases going all the way back to 1900. And Machado, only Hannes Wagner has more, 17.9% of the Orioles' total bases this year.
Yeah, 4 obviously shortstops. You can see Ernie Banks. I think a lot of people, if you didn't know Ernie, he started as a shortstop, would end up playing first base. Let's play 2. One of the nicest men you'll ever see, unless you were a pitcher. And then hit one of the 500 home run club. Never faced Ernie. Never faced him in an all-star game. I'm not not sure what my first year is what, 65. I'm not sure. He might have retired a year or two before that, but would always see him at the Hall of Fame. About as gracious as a guy you're ever going to meet.
And then he pops it up down the right side, way up there. Gives Gomez a lot of time to get over, and he makes the grab.
Well, we know he can catch the routine one because he made a spectacular play on the other one, and he's got his own fan club right here. Just high fastball. A lot of room here, a lot of foul territory, and Carlos will camp under it. Yesterday, what, his color of his hair was green?
Yes.
Said he was thinking white, but it burns too much. His dad apparently is all gray, or white, wanted to look like his dad. Today it was dark when his hat came off. Wow. Better start running, Jonathan.
All the way to the wall, and he's going to cruise to second with a 2-out double.
Well, you know, you talked about starting to heat up a little bit. We were talking to him last night after the game in hotel restaurant, and you know what he was saying is, he said, you know what, I wanted to make it all happen once it came off the DL with the oblique. He said, I got to be more patient, and we've seen that. So I think he understands it's a process. You miss what, 3 weeks, almost a month. Try to make it happen a little bit too soon.
Well, it's his 10th multi-hit game. He has 2 hits today, 9 for 29 on the trip.
Well, how hard does he hit the ball too? I mean, if you elevate that ball, it's going out of here.
Here's Chris Davis, an RBI chance. There's a number. Ramos says, I'll take it, and he does.
Wow.
How's that for a veteran?
Yep. Well, that is a very acrobatic guy. I mean, and he just wheels and deals.
So Ramos pounces on it, tells Pruitt, get out of my way, gets Davis at first. Celebrate Memorial Day with us. The Battle of the Beltways opens up a 7-game homestand for the Birds. Tomorrow, Alex Cobb will be on the mound against Gio Gonzalez. Our coverage on MASN begins at 12:30 with those extra presented by Southwest. And then game coverage at 1 o'clock. We've got all the access you need right here on MASN.
Gio's having a nice year. 5-2 with a low ERA.
Walk year.
I don't know if you want to walk when you're playing for the Nationals.
So the fans enjoying their 7th inning stretch.
Well, I think they're probably looking at the scoreboard. Trailing 3-0 after a half an inning, and they come roaring back with a 6-run 3rd inning off of Kevin Gausman. And again, I mean, it's kind of, they got 1 run last year in 3 starts. 4 runs in the last 40 innings, and Kevin was just a little bit off with his command, and they took advantage of it. They worked the count. He got behind, and they had a lot of quality at bats.
Araujo stays on. He'll face Carlos Gomez, Christian Arroyo, and Rob Refsnyder, lower third of Kevin Cash's lineup. Out in front of that, well back foul. I don't think I've ever seen a ball hit that far foul down that line.
Probably the, speaking of foul balls, I saw Willie Horton hit a changeup off Milpatrick my rookie year over the dugout off the mezzanine in Detroit.
Wow.
And he was a right-handed hitter. He pulled it over their dugout. I've never ever. Now, I saw Davey Johnson hit one. Not Davey Johnson, the pitcher. I don't remember him hitting. I think he was in the DH era. No interleague play, so I didn't get to see.
Well, but he was with the Pirates, right? So he would have had to hit.
But I'm talking about manager, our second baseman, and he hit it out of Yankee Stadium foul up over the, and that's, I mean,
wow.
Yeah,
that was a tall upper deck.
Yes, it was. It still is. I can't really tell you. Even when they remodeled Yankee Stadium in '75 and '76, and Gomez follows that. You can hear it.
Got his foot.
Yeah, right on that left foot. Just getting off the DL with a groin injury.
He is a very emotional player, and he's not shy to show it.
No. I think people that have seen him play have come to expect that.
Whoa. He got all of that one. And that ball is long gone.
Doesn't look like the foot hurts right now, does it? It took away the pain.
So for Carlos Gomez, number 6 makes it 8-3 Tampa Bay. And here's our 4th drive of the game.
Yeah, a little fastball that kind of where the target is. They don't try to go away. They're trying to go in, and he just golfs it. And when it comes down, they lead it 8-3.
Hurry to your local Ford dealers for great savings on cars, trucks, and SUVs. And Gomez, that was a low-key trot around the bases for him. Breaking ball misses low.
Yeah, I'm looking at Pedro Araujo. He signs with the Cubs. That's where the Orioles got him the Rule 5, but they let him start early on. Dominican Summer League, 11, 12, 13, even into 14. He was a starter, and then from then on came to this country, Eugene, South Bend, Myrtle Beach, out of the bullpen.
Arroyo had a big 2-run single in the 6-run bottom of the 3rd. He's been on base all 3 times, facing Araujo for the first time. So 5-run deficit now here in the 7th. It's a fastball by him. 2-2.
And again, Arroyo getting into that fast count. Every time he's come up, he's been able to do that today. Single, double. Trying to hit that one hard once again. Araujo behind him. Yeah, I think what happens, I guess maybe my point about not starting, if you start and then you go to the bullpen, you kind of learn to pitch a little bit more. So to me, again, he can throw 92 to 94 probably, but command, once again they're coming in, and this time the two-seamer sinks pretty well. Didn't sink to Gomez. He hit the home run.
Well, that really helped Tanner Scott last year when the Orioles made the decision to put him in the Bowie rotation, and even though he only would go 3 innings in each start, he was forced to go through the lineup.
Well, he talked about it in that interview. He said, listen, I had to get into a routine. I also had to realize I had to get a guy out more than one way.
There's Tanner.
A lot of times, and it's hard to say that when he went to Eugene for the Cubs that they didn't think that they had 5 or 6 guys that were going to start instead of him. Might have been the case. Maybe the same in South Bend and Myrtle Beach the next day, so you end up in the bullpen. But there's a tendency for you to be more of a thrower than a pitcher when you pitch out of the bullpen.
Second walk since he came on last inning. Refsnyder now.
I was talking to Scotty McGregor about Tanner Scott, and he said when he signed, he could throw it anywhere. Not over the plate, but I mean anywhere. I mean, it was, and he had to, every year he got better and improved. And Roger McDowell looking on, and a little slider. So he's trying to pitch, but the fastball command and missing, and so he keeps getting behind everybody. It's not a good way to pitch.
Cisco out. Manny in as well. Charge mound visit.
Well, you need him, and you hope he'll be able to do it, is to get another 6 outs. Save the bullpen.
Quick turnaround, especially traveling.
Well, again, short bullpen in the sense, I mean, they have what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, but Gibbons probably threw close to what, 80 or 90 pitches this inning in high leverage situation. And of course, Blyer could always come in, but you'd rather save him, and then because you're all over the place, you don't get the close pitches.
So that is the 3rd walk, and the bullpen will have to get busy. Tanner Scott's going to get up. And a visit from Roger McDowell.
Well, they'll give him a little bit of time, and it's not what you want to do, but you'd like to keep it within 5.
Well, and the other part of this too is if Buck can get through this game without using Gibbons, Blyer, and Brock. They haven't pitched since Friday, so they will have had a couple of days off going into that tough series against the Nationals.
Miguel Castro had to pitch 2 innings yesterday in that ball game.
Still nobody out this inning. There's Miguel. Ball 1 to Brad Miller. Miller, a 3 RBI game with a solo home run and a 2-run double. So he's looking fastball, expecting the young pitcher to try to throw a strike, and he got a changeup.
Well, we've seen him when he pitches well. And I mean, today it's just the fact that he can't command his other 2 pitches that he has to almost do that. But that's when he's been at his best. And he kind of just be like Bruce Sutter comes in and throws his splitter. I mean, there's another one. Ball goes straight down. I mean, that is his best pitch. Now, ideally, you'd like to be able to mix in some fastball command. That hasn't been the case, but he just throws another one. Bottom drops out. That's a pitch that, you can strike people out. You can also get double play balls with. But just think if he actually had a fastball and slider to go with it, which is maybe he would if he'd been starting in the Cub organization.
Barely got a piece, but he fights it off.
Yeah, you're a young pitcher and you know to pitch a little bit. We saw kind of Pruitt do that. You know, you'd run a fastball in under Miller's hands and then you'd throw him the splitter. But I don't think he trusts his fastball command to do that.
1-2 on Brad Miller. 2 on and none down. Orioles are in this tough stretch of 20 consecutive games without a day off. The first one was rained out, but they were still there. That was the Phillies series, and that game wasn't even called until about 10:20 because they thought there was going to be a window to get the game in. And since the Phillies don't go back to Baltimore, they did everything they could to get it in, but the weather just didn't cooperate. Orioles won't have a day off until a week from tomorrow, and it's likely a travel day because they'll be in New York the following day to play the Mets. It's a real tough stretch. Off the end of the bat, Mancini was deep, and he's going to get in on it. Nicely done by Trey.
Yeah, nice pitch by Araujo. He finally got back to where he could once again get Miller out on his front foot with a splitter.
One down as Araujo gets Miller.
One thing about Pedro Araujo, he's got good body language. He can get knocked around a little bit, but like I said, he's a nice young man. And again, he certainly has been rushed this year. I mean, it's just the way it is. And now you try to battle through it. You learn from it. I told him, I was talking to him yesterday down on the bench. I said, you got to do the catfish, Hunter. When you do your sides, and that's the problem, he doesn't really get to do a lot of sides because he comes into games. I said, put your hat gently on your head, and when you jerk your head, which he does, it'll come off. And you got to quiet your head down, and then you're able to throw pitches like that. So you just try to calm your front side down. Most people, Richard Blyer, of course, is standing with us, kind of my interpreter, and he said, listen, my pitching coach, Jeff Andrews, when I was, I think, with Texas, he said, AA guy, said, you don't throw harder with your body and your head, you do it with your arm. If Pedro learns that, so he's, you get out there and let's just take a look. And you could see again, it's a max effort windup. Sometimes it's real good, but right here, 0-2, he can go to the splitter again. Nope, slider.
1-2 on Crone, who has been hit twice by pitches in the first and in the fourth. Arroyo at second and Ruff Snyder at first with 1 down. Broke his bat.
CJ checking to see if it's his bat.
Crone has hit 16 home runs in each of the last 3 seasons, and he'll likely go by that this year since he's already at 11.
Well, like we said over the last couple of days, I mean, he out over the plate, he could golf him about as far as anybody. And he keeps swinging at that ball about 6 inches off the inside corner. He's going to get another bat, but he's a power guy. And they traded Morrison with 38 home runs, Dickerson with 27, Souza with 30. They have some salary. Longoria hit 20, I think 22 last year. So they get him inexpensively, and he can hit home runs.
Well, he's able to get a piece of that to stay alive.
And then the other thing is he knows he's going to play here.
Right. He DHs most of the time, but he can play first base. And the count holding 1-2. Another foul ball. Wow. So the count holding 1-2, but Corona's about to see an 8th pitch in this at bat. Weak ground ball towards Davis. Only play is at first. Araujo gets over 2 down. Davis ducked as Araujo turned as if he was going to throw it. He said, wait a minute. I'm right here in front of you. So Araujo finally wins that battle.
Yeah, makes another good pitch. Pretty good slider.
Joey Wendell. RBI single in the 6-run 3rd inning. He's got 2 in scoring position here in the 7th.
Yeah, he walked, stole a base. Kind of a Joey Wendell afternoon.
Strike right there. 0-1.
I was talking to Chad Matola, the hitting instructor. I said, so he stands right on top of the plate, so he really crowds the plate. But I said, does he have short arms? He said, no, he's bow-legged and his arms are bow-legged. I said, I've never heard that term. He said, no, I mean, he's somewhat jesting, but tell him that. But he's got, I mean, if you want, his arms kind of separate. And so I think that leads for his ability to kind of inside out the ball as well as he does.
No batting gloves. Brad Miller doesn't wear batting gloves either.
Maybe a little tape.
Yeah, there's tape on the bat there.
Yeah, it's all about feel, whether you're pitching or hitting. Yeah, good splitter.
So Araujo gets ahead 1-2.
Well, hitting's kind of like playing pepper when you used to. In the old days, you used to play pepper every day of spring training and before games, where you have 3 or 4 guys and you just hit the ball and you kind of know where the bat head is and whatever. And the good hitters can do that. They know where the bat head is. They try to hit the back of the ball. You're trying to get them swing through it or out on their front foot.
So Tanner Scott watching the action in the bullpen. He's been up for quite some time.
Well, once again, I think they'd rather. I mean, this is what pitch 46 coming up for Araujo. They'd rather not go to him.
2-2 on Wendell. He fights it off.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just kind of watching it. You know, I'm watching the infielders. Valencia's got his hands on his knees. Machado, I mean, there's so many pitches. You know, everybody kind of back. I wish you get somebody who throws a lot of strikes. That's what David Hess was so impressive about on Friday night. I mean, nobody's standing around on Friday night because it's pounding the strike zone. That's how good he was.
And Araujo gloves it. Nicely done. And gets it to Davis as Wendell hustles down the line. We head to the 8th. 8-3 Tampa Bay. Primarily known as a slugger around Major League Baseball, but Sin-Soo Choo is the league's new home run king among Asian-born players. And he took his crown dramatic fashion, the 35-year-old Korean, who has never hit more than 25 home runs in a single season, past former Yankee slugger Hideki Matsui of Japan with an extra innings walk-off home run Saturday against the Royals. His career long ball totals now 176. Matsui was second with 175, and Ichiro third on the list of Asian players with 117. Of course, Matsui was known as a power hitter because he was coming over from Japan, but Choo has had a lot of longevity, even though he's hurt a lot.
Yeah, long-term deal that he signed with Texas. Yeah, they had quotes from Adam Jones talking about the deal he signed with the Orioles, the 6-year extension, because I think today is the 6th-year anniversary. And he was saying, I don't know of very few players that were ever disappointed that they signed long-term deals. And I'm thinking, okay, but how about the owners? And of course, that was kind of a headline in the Baltimore Sun.
Chopped to third. That is foul.
Just in case.
Arroyo didn't hear the umpire Mike DeMuro, so as he should do, he fired over anyway.
Yeah, you play deep here, and then you got to play the hops. And if you run hard, and Danny was, smelled base hit.
13,311.
There's Alvarado, one of the 3 lefties in the pen. We've already seen Nuno.
Yeah, he throws about 98.
It's impressive.
Yes. Well, as long as he throws it over, I guess. It's a good place to start, wouldn't you think?
But today they're going with a 9-man bullpen, and that did not include Sergio Romo, who started the game coming out of the bullpen. They added Jamie Schultz from the minor leagues.
Well, Buck Showalter's whole take on this is that, hey, if you have an optional bullpen, as far as what Kevin Cash has done, I mean, you're trying to score more runs than the other team and get 27 outs before they get more runs than you. And you know, you're trying to find ways to do it. And if you have guys you can send back and forth, Orioles did that when they were the masters of that.
Yeah.
And then guys lose options, and if you send them to the minors, you know, they have to go through waivers and you lose them. So, but Tampa Bay not in that predicament, so they can mix and match, and they've done a nice job of it. But today is not about, I mean, the pitching's been really good, but it's about the 6-run 3rd inning they had against a pretty good pitcher in Kevin Gausman.
Hard hit ball right to Arroyo. This time it's fair.
You've got to run, Danny. Come on. Come on. It's because it's Adam. That's why I enjoyed watching Cal play so much, and Adam. You know, it doesn't matter what, you know, it's a routine out, but it's routine out if you don't run. I mean, he got down there. It's just, I know he's frustrated because it was a hanging slider, but just run.
Francisco now. Chance walked with the bases loaded in the first for an RBI. He also walked in the 3rd inning.
It was such a promising offensive start for the Orioles. You know, Alvarez took a close pitch, walked, and then Manny got a base hit. Scope scorched one up the middle. Chris Davis with a sacrifice. Chance with a walk with the bases loaded. The bunt by Gentry, and you go, okay, because what was our opening today about how they're struggling for offense?
Well, the 2 big outs in this game were Peterson to end the 1st. That left the bases loaded, and Mancini to end the 3rd when the Birds left the bases loaded, both on fly balls to right field.
I mean, they've still given up 8 runs, and that's kind of, you know, you've got to deal with that. But the point is, this could have been a slugathon. With a couple of key hits here and there.
Ball and 2 strikes on Cisco.
Yeah, you can see why they drafted Pruitt. You know, it comes out of the University of Houston, where he was a starting pitcher. We went in the 9th round because he's not overpowering, but he can pitch. Look at that strike to ball ratio, 34-12.
Cisco having a stubborn at bat.
Well, Buck Showalter will always tell you when a young hitter comes, you know, from AA to AAA to the big leagues, velocity goes up, command goes up from the guys you're facing. So if you have a pretty good idea of what you need to do, and I think Chance does, you shorten your swing, maybe a little more compact. And they took that pitch right down the middle. Little cutter, gives up on it, but he's done a nice job of kind of hanging in there till here. Just got fooled by the break. It's a curveball, actually.
So a prolonged at bat, but he's called out on strikes. Number 4 for Pruitt. Greg Gentry's had a 2-hit game.
Well, Pruitt's doing what he did against the Red Sox when Faria got hurt. He pitched 5 1/3 innings where he didn't give up any runs.
Alvarado, who was getting loose last inning, no longer throwing, so he might have been just getting in some work.
I mean, Pruitt would even be, if they wanted to, because he only has 132 days in the big leagues, he'd be one of these guys that has options.
Off the end of the bat, Gomez is there, and he's got it. So Pruitt has a 3-up, 3-down 8th as the O's go in order. Bottom of the 8th, and he has gone to his bullpen, and here is Tanner Scott.
Yeah, so back-to-back games. Comes in with the bases loaded yesterday, throws 15 pitches, 10 of them for strikes, and 10 sliders out of those 15 pitches, throwing also 98, easy 98. Real good with strikes out the anytime you strike out the bases loaded, period, but with the base, you know, or whether they're loaded or not. The secondary pitch was great, and we'll see how he does here in the 8th.
Wilson Ramos, the cleanup hitter, leads off. Robertson and Smith follow. That's going to fall for a base hit. Peterson was deep.
Really deep. You know, I used to broadcast with Tim McCarver, who was caught in 4 different decades, and he used to always talk about how usually you play to the off field, you play shallow. And the theory, of course, is you catch those balls, or a better chance of doing that.
This is the first time this year that Tanner Scott has been used in back-to-back games by the O's. It's something that he'll have to adjust to if he is a long-term fixture in that bullpen. This could be two. Valencia, scope, and off the bat. First sailed on Jonathan.
No, the thing about Daniel Robertson, and we've seen it over the course of this series, I guess if you play him all the time. Of course, Danny doesn't get a good read. If he comes in, maybe he'd turn the two. Not a good throw from Scope because I think he knew he had to hurry. But he runs pretty well. So he airs it out down the line, forces the pressure on the. I don't think Danny Valencia not understood, but he couldn't get a good read because that ball kind of got in on the fist. Wasn't hit that hard. Had to come get it.
Here's Malik Smith. Fastball outside. For AAA Norfolk this year, Scott worked in back-to-back games only once.
Yeah, the other thing is that when you do come in, and I relieved early in my career and late in my career, you got to make sure that where you land, because he looked down. I mean, he's looking down. I mean, there's what have been 4 different pitchers, 5 different pitchers. So you all land in different places. So you got to really smooth the landing area.
Yeah, he's the 7th, but he's only the 2nd left-hander.
Yeah.
Nuno worked 3 innings.
And they don't all land in the same place, but it's clay, and you dig out a hole. And my last loss in the big leagues was I came in the 14th, 15th, and 16th inning, a tie game, and
I mean, Mount was a mess.
Mount was a mess. It was like mortar range.
Four-pitch walk. So that'll put 2 on with 1 down in the 8th.
Yeah, we always talk about day games after night games. Well, this is a day game after a semi-night game, so the turnaround's even quicker for Tanner Scott.
Carlos Gomez hit a long home run his last at-bat, deep into left field.
Now take a look right here. Works the count and then walks one deep. 433 feet. Exit velocity at 108.
2-0. Ball 3.
Keeps looking down where he's landing.
Let's just go out for yet another visit. So not turning that double play, looming larger now. 3-0 on Carlos Gomez. There's a strike. Took it all the way.
Yep. Easy 98.
Bounce towards Manny. To Scope. Back to first. There's a double play. And that ends the inning. So Scott works around it. We head to the 9th. Birds come to bat. Down by 5. Southwest. Low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. The Ray Tank in deep right center field. And speaking of right field, there's Johnny Field who takes over for Gomez. Adam Jones getting the day off. Talking it over with Jonathan Scope. So Pruitt stays on. Peterson, Mancini, and Alvarez due up. That ball is crushed. Back it goes and off the wall and in play.
Yeah, home run easily in Baltimore. Wall a little bit lower. You're right about being hit hard. It hit at least to the farthest point in right center field. So Pruitt, very few of these fastballs in the middle of the plate. He's cut them, he's turned them over, he's thrown curveballs, and Jason Peterson wait and then nails it to right field. I noticed you were waiting for your home run call, but I thought it was going out too.
Yeah.
Of course, they have a microphone right behind home plate, and the balls, I mean, even the balls that aren't hit that well sound like they're whacked.
Well, that fence out there is 11 feet 5 inches. To straightaway center field, it's only 9 feet 4 inches. You see the little difference there by the Geico sign. Mancini is 1 out of 4.
Now he would love for his mental self being get a base hit with a runner in scoring position. Tazarell, we saw him yesterday. Not a closing situation. Yesterday, same case, 5-1 lead.
Chop to Robertson at short. Mancini's retired and one away here in the 9th. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Orioles. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Orioles. Pedro Alvarez now with Peterson on at third. Breaking ball for a called strike.
Well, that's the book. Try it away if you can. At least try to stay away from the fastball. Turn it over. Cut it. Hey, anything straight. Pedro Alvarez is not your best friend if you're a pitcher.
One and two on the foul tip. Pedro walked in the rally in the first. He's since gone 0 for 3. Two and two. And he got him.
Yeah, that fastball out of the way just to kind of show him something else, change the eye level, and then he hooks it. No, but you got to be able to do it, and Pruitt can, at least has this afternoon. Yeah, we saw a row, and Kevin Cash said at this time, with Colomé going to the Mariners, we're not in a place we're going to name our closer. Probably do it by committee.
Pruitt may not be getting on that plane to Oakland. They won't be able to use him for a few days. They may option him out and get another arm.
Yeah, well, that's again being optional. 132 days in the big leagues. I think you understand if you play for this organization, it's trying to rebuild, or even the Orioles when they were trying to win a division or a wild card team. You're not expendable. You're just optional.
Well, if he gets the final out here, he will have gone 6 2/3 in relief, scoreless relief. Yesterday, Anthony Banda, 6 1/3, 1 run. He was optioned out after the game. Ryan Yarbrough, he went 7 innings in relief on Friday night. Manny to right field. That ball has some carry, but field is there. And on the warning track, he has it for the out. So Tampa Bay gets the rubber game as they get 2 out of 3, and the Orioles drop another series. So a tough road trip for the O's. The 11 games, they've been gone for 12 days, and they go 4-7 on the trip. For the O's here in the ninth, the double a man left. Final score at the Trop. Tampa Bay 8, the Orioles 3.